And
You
it's
can't die.
the 12 rule is just something that was inflicted on every other Time Lord except for the Doctor, because obviously the Doctor's the first one.
Okay, so I'm back. Let's get this hoop of sketch going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been recording for about 15 seconds, so we're good.
Okay, that's perfect.
Both of y'all do that shit.
Yeah.
Why?
Very dare you.
You'll never see it coming.
Copyright.
No, it's not. I don't think it's copyright. Is it?
10 seconds, you butthead. No, he's got time.
Okay, but welcome everybody. Welcome. We're doing a thing. We have another one in the gauntlet of pretentious video essayists. We've done Lily Orchard. We've done Movie Bob. We've done Jules Chan, even though he's not very famous, but that 9-hour monstrosity.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just looked at flipping time code.
We're not tackling this.
We're not doing it all. We're not doing it all. We're not doing it all. This video is an hour 30. We're going to split it into parts. Don't worry.
No, I'm taking him now.
Mayo, edit in the frickin' picture of
No, I'm not editing this.
Mr. Burns putting up the poster says you're here forever.
I'm not editing this. Ha ha ha.
And then edit it over, said do it for her, and put a bunch of pictures of Rouge the Bat and Freeman.
Not editing this.
Okay, but this is Anthony Gramuglia, or as I call him, Anthony Giggly Tits, because I'm 12 years old.
What's his name?
Anthony
Gramuglia.
Yeah, Gramuglia.
Gramuglia.
Yes.
Okay.
He is I believe he was a former CBR writer, which automatically kind of, like...
CDR?
CBR.
So
it's basically...
Explain to the audience what CBR is for those who don't know.
If
Yeah,
CBR...
People just drop acronyms out of nowhere and nobody understands it. It's kind of stupid.
So CBR is basically the comics version of like Kotaku and IGN.
The
So
comics version of Kotaku and IGN? Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
like-
I see what you're saying.
yeah, so basically like
Basically a joke of a journalism for like,
Yes.
this piece of media.
yes, exactly.
Or this genre of media, I should say.
Yeah, it was either CBR or maybe it was like IGN or Kotaku, but he was a former writer for one of these hyper shill bootlicking journalist websites. And then he just
Bootlicking is the proper word for it, but like just
hyper shill. I think that is
Yeah.
correct. Okay,
Hypershell's more appropriate.
but and then I think he left, and then he decided to come onto YouTube to try being a video essayist, and he's apparently taken off quite a bit. And he has
I'm just staring at this background. I think that's an Aqua Funko Pop in the background.
from Konosuba. Looks the outline
The
looks
one
a
with the
bit
blue
like
hair.
it.
That's either
Yeah.
that or it's Miku.
You can't
If
tell,
it's-
blurry.
Yeah, it is a bit. It is too blurry. If it is Aqua, then like, how dare you like what I like?
He's looking like things. Come on.
I know.
As I've watched the recent debate, watching this person that I loathe and despise with all his One Piece stuff, like, it's just one of those things where, yep, people are fans of things. It's okay.
But the topic of this video is called
yes.
"I'm glad Star Wars: The Last Jedi ruined your childhood."
Okay, so
Which-
when did this video come out?
A couple
Very
days ago.
recently.
A couple days ago.
It's literally just come out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's why I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a good mood at all.
Yeah, Wyatt kind of messaged me like, Mayo, we need to destroy this guy now.
All right, well, I mean, I feel like it's a moot point, but real quick, what is everybody's thoughts on The Last Jedi?
It's the worst thing that has ever happened to Star Wars.
It destroyed Luke Skywalker.
it is the point in time, the exact point in time where you can say this is where Star Wars began to die. This is the most destructive piece of mainline Star Wars media. Maybe there's like a book or a comic out there that does way more damage, but in terms of mainline Star Wars media, this does arguably the most damage with another contender being the Acolyte. The Acolyte does a lot of damage in and of itself, but The Last Jedi it has to be up. It's up there. If it's not number one in terms of the worst piece of Star Wars mainline media, it's contender for top 3.
Think about it like this: people hated the Last Jedi so much that they just included Skinwalker Luke in the last episode of The Mandalorian season 2, just to try to make up for it, because it's like, oh, look, it's Luke Skywalker. He's swinging his lightsaber. You like that, right?
And
And
people
it's like,
fell
oh,
for
Also,
it.
the fact that it wasn't so. It was bad enough with the what the hell was the one before the Last Jedi? I can't remember. I keep thinking
Force
about
Awakens.
Menace. Force Awakens. So it was bad enough with the Force Awakens, the fact that they didn't bring Luke, Han, and Leia together, which is the thing that everyone freaking wanted. But even with the Last Jedi, even then they could have just had one scene of Luke and Leia together, just at least for the nostalgicisms and all that kind of stuff. They couldn't even do it.
What do
Well,
you
they
mean?
did.
He was
They-
right there.
Yeah, they
But
did.
no,
It was
he
Force
the Force
Luke.
hologram.
It was Force hologram
Yeah.
Luke. And then he gave Leia the fucking dice of the Falcon, and then the next move that came afterwards, Solo was like, by the way, these were given to Han by his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
God.
I'm just sad in remembering, because I remember me and my buddy Jose, like, I already saw the trailer for The Last Jedi, but I think it was like me and my buddy going to go see Deadpool, and like there was a trailer for The Last Jedi in it, and the end of the trailer where Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end, I remember him and me pogging the fuck out because we thought he was going to start the Gray Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And man, were our expectations subverted.
Did you know the Jedi
Like-
are shit, and they did all this stuff allowing Darth Sidious to
I
take
thought we were
over?
gonna get like a mature takedown of it and how like the light side and the dark side should coexist, because both things can work together if you balance them properly, which is the whole point of the Grey Jedi's. Which, in case you guys haven't played KOTOR, you guys should play KOTOR, because there's some fucking great Jedi material there.
And
Which is
but
weird,
also-
because the dark side is actually supposed to be a cancer upon the Force, and getting rid of it is balance, and then that kind of got weirdly retconned in extended material.
Which, once again, go play KOTOR, because you actually see the other side of the coin, because you never actually get a perspective of a Sith in any of the games.
yeah,
Aside from
and
Palpatine's slight, like, mentoring to Anakin, but no, you actually visit a whole, like, Sith, like, training camp, and they explain that what the actual point of the dark side is.
yeah, and then also when it comes to like its portrayal of Luke, as somebody who's read the extended universe like for 2 decades, mind you, and like hearing that it's time for the Jedi to end, I had the opposite reaction. I was filled with fucking dread, because like Luke's Jedi Order was already had a lot of the stuff that the Great Jedi would have, because of the rules he changed in regards to like the prequel era. Like Jedi were allowed to get married. You're allowed to have feelings as long as you don't let them control you. When it comes to Force powers, as long as you don't let for casting Force lightning, for example, as long as you don't let that anger into yourself, you are able to use it.
My point is that I feel like there was a lot more mature ways to handle it, and Rian Johnson just basically shit all over Star Wars.
Yeah, he
because
just
he has admitted time and time again that he wanted to make a divisive movie that people would love and that people would hate. And it's like, why would you do that? Just make a good movie.
he's a pretentious auteur, and
I would say he's a pretentious cunt. Like, it's just it is what it is. But since Rian Johnson destroyed it, apparently this guy thinks it's a good thing.
and he's glad that it ruined your childhood.
You know,
So
let's get fucking into it. I'm already getting upset.
yeah.
Anyone in the film sphere with the most controversial film of all time is, the first thing they say might be The Last Temptation of Christ, but the second thing is probably The Last Jedi. And by the film sphere, I just mean people on YouTube. After all, the majority of audiences who saw The Last Jedi remember it fondly as that one Star Wars movie where Luke is old and stuff. However,
I mean,
I know
is
people
it?
who are not on YouTube and
Well-
still hate it.
I was about to say, can me like somebody do a quick check of?
Yeah, I'll do a quick Rotten Tomatoes check or a Metacritic check. Let's see how that audience score is going. Last Jedi.
Because I think the thing is, like, maybe at the time the general audiences enjoyed it, but I'm pretty sure as time has gone along, normies have turned against it.
So
The
482 actual reviewers gave it a 91%. However, over
Yeah.
100,000 put it at 41.
Yeah, 41%. Yeah, it's
So maybe over 100,000 people are YouTubers. Who knows?
Yeah.
yeah, it is a large site.
It's a large site, and it could have, and again, it's probably maybe like over the years, people have just started to realize, as these projects have been consistently garbage, like maybe aside from Andor or Skeleton Crew, the main shows in the movies, nothing but trash, nothing but absolute gobshite.
And Rogue One, hold on, let's give Rogue One its credit.
I haven't seen Rogue One, so.
Well, it's one of those things where it's just that, like, it's kind of like because like the recent zeitgeist with like The Last of Us. It's like people who are fans of these things aren't actually fans of these things, because the only thing that people remember from The Last of Us 1 is Joel dying and Fat Geralt. Nobody actually gave a shit about the entire fucking story of the thing.
Even Last of Us 2.
Last Jedi. I feel like The Last Jedi. Fuck, they got last in the name. But Last Jedi also has the very similar thing, is that people don't really remember shit about the movie.
And also,
because it doesn't, like, they're not as diehard as we are. That like, let's live free in our heads.
And also, like, this extends to the whole sequel trilogy, because I was talking about this with Jake. So Fortnite came out with a new advertising, and it said somehow Palpatine returned. It showed Poe Dameron doing a facepalm. It's like, all right, you're starting to make fun of it, but you were one of the key advertising instruments for Rise of Skywalker.
Well, I mean, they were, but they're allowed to poke fun.
Yeah,
That's the whole fucking
no, yeah,
thing.
it's funny how, like, even they're just going like, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's not just YouTubers. There have been plenty of people, especially over the last 6 years or so. Yeah, 6. No, it's been more than 6 years. It's been 8 years.
I'd probably say 10 to 20
people,
years.
Even people in Star Wars. Remember, Sam Witwer did that whole fucking stream where he was playing Battlefront 2, and he was just like, that ending was just awful. Like, it's like, we've got, Luke is going like, I'm so sorry, Ben. But then he's like 2 seconds later, like, oh, see you around, kid. He's like, this is not Luke.
Was Sam in Last Jedi?
No, I mean, like, is part of, like, he's part of the Star Wars staff by this point. Like,
well, I mean, he's the fucking definitive voice of Palpatine now.
Yeah, and also by this point, like, people are recommending that he be like the head, the Kevin Feige of it all, because I certainly don't trust fucking Dave and John.
Sam
Dave
Witwer, by the
Filoni
way, for people who don't know, he was
Star Killer.
If you look up fucking The Force Unleashed, he's that guy.
He's Star Killer. He voiced Darth Maul. He was the voice of Palpatine. He's probably done other stuff that I'm not.
His fucking voice for Palpatine is on point, dude.
Yeah, it's spot on.
His voice for Maul is pretty good as well.
His voice for Maul's pretty good, but let's be honest, Maul's kind of a whispery dude. Like, there wasn't really much characteristics that you got from the fucking movies.
Oh,
however,
yeah, that's
his Palpatine is on point.
Yes, he's almost 1-to-1 to Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love Sam. He's a great dude.
Yeah, he has. I believe he even did some voice lines for Maul and Solo.
Yes. He's even gone out of his way that when, like, Dave Filoni wrote, like, a shitty script for the Clone Wars, Sam was just like, because the scene was apparently Anakin talking to, like, a Force ghost of his mother. It's like, I have a wife, and, like, you've never met her. And Sam was like, no, Shmi has met Padme. They had dinner together.
God, why do people like Dave Filoni?
Wait, what?
In Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, because I used her actual name.
Then that would be weird, though, because it's like, oh my god, you groomed my fucking son.
I think the problem with Filoni is that he got some goodwill with the first season of The Mandalorian, which wasn't horrible, but then it just went downhill from there.
Well, he also got a lot of credit from Rebels and Clone Wars, even though Clone Wars, he had a lot of backup staff that wrote competent stories.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, left on his own, he writes Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. He Vadered! He Vadered! Red!
But
that's red.
But anyway...
Those are from reactions from people reviewing episode 5
during
of Ahsoka.
During the fight in the world between worlds.
Red! That's right. Just reminded that YMS compilation of fucking the Lion King thing. Wow, dude.
Pride
Rock.
Pride Rock.
Wait, hang on. I have a soundboard for this. Where's it at?
like looking through like a toolbox. Who's like throwing a wrench behind his head. It's like it's somewhere. It's called Pride Rock.
Oh my god, our stupid fucking Discord thing has so many soundboard things.
Wow, dude, Pride Rock.
All right.
Who talks like that?
Look, it's funny. Like he
We're
looked.
happy to see Pride Rock.
Pride Rock.
That reminds me of the thing that I liked.
Wow, dude.
Pride
yeah.
Rock.
So to say that it just upset YouTubers is a gross understatement. Gramuglia.
We're starting off with fallacious accusations.
Oh, I'm familiar with this
30-minute fucking thing like goes. Yeah, I don't. And I'm going to assume most of your audience doesn't either, so, oh boy, here we go.
I'll just say this. He quasi-defended Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Line has created this whole micro industry of people making videos, sometimes 4 or 5 times longer than the movie itself, complaining about how this film not only destroyed their childhood, but destroyed the future of Star Wars.
I mean,
yes.
Oh, look,
Real
it's
quick, just want to point out that the very easiest thing to do this with is Mahler had the best fucking breakdown of this. It's like, the video's longer than that, but how often do you talk about a single scene in a movie?
During his
How
Force
often
Awakens
do you
review.
talk about a single sentence in a movie?
yeah.
So, people are allowed to talk about something they're passionate about.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's but just because they're negative, hence why he has a problem with it.
Yeah.
And it's also the fact that especially with the original trilogy, that people have spent so much time watching it over and over and over again because they love it. They bought all the merchandise, they bought the games, they bought all the DVDs and box sets and all that. They devoted so much to all this stuff, and then to have the sequel trilogy just shit on all that, that's massive disservice to the fans.
Yeah.
I was very sad when I found out that the EU was getting shit canned to make room for this trilogy. I was like, you could just adapt one of the books, right? You could just do that.
You could do Heir to the Empire.
Also, the fact that Dan and Dave fucking left Game of Thrones and we got the season 8 that we did to do parts of this trilogy is even fucking worse.
Yeah,
They didn't even get their movie. No, they didn't even get their movie.
They didn't even do their fucking thing.
They didn't even get it.
Game of Thrones for.
Yeah. God.
Man,
Hey,
okay, well, we're talking
Ryan
one bad.
Johnson here. Sorry about that, me taking a huge giant dump. I was just too busy all over this Star Wars franchise. This movie took everything that you like about Star Wars, that you love about Star Wars, that you thought you knew about Star Wars, and it on it. And
Based.
on it again, and
Correct.
then it on fire, and then it's on it again.
I don't even have one good fucking thing to say about this movie.
Walt Disney Star Wars cycle has gone.
Thank God for those car YouTubers.
I remember that fucking clip from the what was his name? Major Lee? The Major Lee video?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, you get to look at women.
I never saw that clip. There's just some guy driving. I can't think of one good fucking thing to say.
Yeah, like I said, that video clip was in the Major Lee video. That's great.
Oh my god! Look, although he's referencing the Acolyte, my brother, the Acolyte is not something you want to defend in any capacity.
It unironically paints the Jedi as just horrible people.
Oh no, worse. Yeah, it considers the main girl's turn to the dark side as a heroic and morally justifiable act.
Yeah,
And
they
let's
take.
just, and let's just do this like objectively. Like, the show was supposed to get a second season and it got fucking canceled.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about how it was received? Like,
Oh no,
The Last Jedi was profitable mainly because The Force Awakens,
and
the
it had a
fucking Train 9000.
Hold on.
It had a huge second week drop off, like a massive second
You
week.
get a laugh out of this.
Season.
You'd get a laugh out of this, Max. because there were people that were saying Breaking Bad wasn't good at the first season, Clone Wars wasn't good, but they all got second seasons and were able to improve. The Acolyte doesn't. And
Breaking Bad was good from.
Well, I was about to say that's
Star
crazy,
Trek
'cause Breaking
TNG
Bad was great
was
from the
horrible.
beginning, but, all right.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, because you only like months ago just finished Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it was fucking incredible. It's some of the best television thing. And it's funny we're talking about depressing stories. Like, man,
Honestly,
that story is not for the faint of heart.
It's really weird how, like, because Rian Johnson directed Ozymandias, what most people consider to be the best episode in the show.
Directed, not
So-
wrote.
Yeah, that's the thing. If that's the one that starts with the fly, and then that's the one where Skylar pretty much emptied out his stash.
The one
It's
with
got
the
that-
fly?
Yes.
I fucking hated that episode, but all right. So, okay. Interesting, but fair enough, I guess.
You didn't like
That
the
borderline
episode?
felt like fucking filler, but yeah, it's that I had no idea that was Rian Johnson, but man, God, does it make fucking sense? Yeah, go back and watch that fucking episode. Anybody who says that episode's good, I fucking genuinely want to hear their fucking defense of that shit. But anyway, that's a rant forever. But fuck Rian Johnson. Thanks for adding to the pile.
Oh no, I'm a moron. Ozymandias is the episode where Hank dies.
Okay, yeah, I was about to fucking say, dude, that episode was shit. Okay, that's better.
I think he also directed that as well.
Yeah, I think he
Then that makes a lot of sense. You know what? Don't look it up. Don't look it up. It's just my fucking headcanon.
I don't even have one good thing.
I don't even have one good thing to say.
I'm just trying another road and I'm so fucking angry. He starts ramming through.
It just bees like that sometimes, man. Like, you just gotta get that shit out of you.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I was in stunned silence because I saw it like at the premiere. It's like 1 a.m. My ex-wife was just driving us home, and I'm just sitting there in stunned silence. Like I just got home from war.
Sobbing in the corner.
Because I just saw a movie that's all about my favorite fictional character. Because I love the shit out of Luke Skywalker, and it's just like, so he was just shit this whole time because he was Luke Skywalker. It's like, you realize that name inspires hope in people, right? That's the man who defeated the Emperor and Darth Vader, brought peace to the galaxy.
No,
the
he
man
didn't.
who brought back Vader.
He didn't bring peace to the galaxy because the Republic. There's the New Republic, which is like only 5 planets. They all got blown up.
About this movie. About this movie. It is just rancid diarrhea.
And while Disney's Star Wars cycle has garnered controversy since starting just over a decade ago, yes, it has been that long, The Last Jedi stands apart from most of the other entries. People aren't really talking about, say, the Obi-Wan show anymore, or that Book of Boba Fett series. Hell,
I mean, like,
Do you want to know why?
There's a reason. There's like
they're awful.
Book
I
of
was gonna say,
Boba
like,
Fett
I
was
want that
made with a
fucking-
shoe- Go
Hey,
ahead.
there, put in that video Cardi B throwing a fucking book at somebody else in another talk show and go, what was the reason? What was the reason?
So the reason was because they were fucking cash grab TV shows that were made on shoestring production to the point that you could fucking see it. They put the camera behind the wooden set.
Problem is what you just said is actually not an issue. Because if it was good, nobody would have gave a fuck about the level of production. That's all people want. They want something good. It wasn't good. That's just
it wasn't. But that's the thing. Part of it was because it was all rushed. Book of Boba Fett was made almost like the second Boba appeared in Mandalorian, because they were like, "Yep, we got to make this show now." And it's like, then put time and effort into it. No, we're gonna have 2 episodes that don't even feature Boba Fett.
And you also
why?
And the thing is, like, okay. What was that? What was that?
He's looking at it on his phone. So what was the reason?
It's the Cardi B thing. What was the reason?
And then, like, and honestly, you could tell, like, there's definitely the potential you could have told a fantastic story with the Obi-Wan show. Just him hanging out.
Fantastic story with all of these.
Yeah,
you could have done great. Instead, they just shit on a piece of paper and handed it to fucking.
I don't-
And said, "Here you go, script's done."
Yeah, you were like, because the Obi-Wan show really fucking bothered me, because it really could have just been a season of him hanging on Tatooine,
Just hanging
solving
out on Tatooine,
problems.
like literally being a detective. Like it could just be
because
like an anthology series of him just being a detective, dude. You know what I mean?
They could have
That was
released
awesome.
in the whole. They could have
Whoever
released
was
in the
in
whole
the,
montage of freaking Qui-Gon giving him training after the fact of the fucking.
Yeah, you could have honestly. You
Prequels.
could have just had Ewan McGregor and fucking
Liam
Force
Neeson.
Ghost
and
Qui-Gon.
No, you could have just had them in a cave talking shit about each other for an entire season, and that would have been better than we got.
Because, and especially, you don't need a round 2 between Vader and Obi-Wan, because the round 2 happens on the Death Star.
Yeah, and yeah, if you do that, you're fucking already disrupting canon. So like,
Yeah. And the reason why The Last Jedi is probably talked about a little bit more, even though discussions about it have died down significantly. I don't know what the fuck he's on about.
yeah,
But-
I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah,
anything
these
about
content
that.
creators they think it's all we ever fucking talk about. When it's like, it's a
And the sad
good
thing
stretch
is,
of months between like even mentions of it.
And I say, and the sad thing is, if it was good, we'd still be talking about it. But literally, because it was so shit, we've literally moved on to different franchises. Like,
Yeah.
I went into a whole deep fucking lore dive of fucking 40K because I needed some other sci-fi thing to.
Oh yeah, that's finally
Yeah.
what convinced me. Like, I'm gonna stop just watching text to speech and just actually just go into 40K. Well,
Yeah.
because I got so sick and tired of dealing with my favorite franchise burned to the fucking ground and pissed on.
And 40K might be doing the same thing, but for now, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Gatekeeping.
it's just one of those things where it's like, if these things were good, they would be talked about.
But
Not
I
being
think,
talked about because they're shit.
but I do think the reason why maybe you can argue Last Jedi is talked about a little bit more than a lot of these other awful projects is, The Force Awakens was so so like positively received when it first came out, and even in several years afterwards, that there is that bit of context to it, and The Last Jedi was that first time where you're like, this is worse than the fucking prequels. What am I watching? And then that caused that caused people to go back and look at The Force Awakens. And they're like, oh, this is really bad too.
Oh yeah, like here's the thing. I recently, for the audience, I recently saw Revenge of the Sith in celebration of the anniversary. Revenge of the Sith's not a good movie, but I still fucking love it through and through because it's still fucking Star Wars in a good way. It expands the world. It gives context to certain events, the fall of the Jedi, the rise of the Empire. It does things instead of it continues to build, whereas The Last Jedi did nothing but deconstruct and didn't even do a good job at it.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the numbers from the Revenge of the Sith.
It's made almost $1 billion.
Yeah, just from the re-release, it's made almost $1 billion, and it's probably going to hit that mark too.
Wasn't it?
And that's the sad thing about it as well, because that
I'll take a
billion is
look right
going
now.
to
2
that
seconds.
billion is going to finance about 2 or 3 more fucking D+ projects.
It might, but the thing is, Disney's also kind of like awakening to this shit. They're realizing shit's going wrong, and maybe they're doing fucking things. That's why they canceled a lot of their fucking projects.
But there's also, they might take the wrong lessons from this, where it's like, oh, to make money, we'll just re-release a bunch of old shit, which fair enough, I guess. But then they won't make new shit, which I understand. We don't want to see new stuff from them, but like it'll almost come across as like you've released Lilo and Stitch for like 70th time this year in theaters. I love that movie, but come on.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plans out. But like I said,
So
it's
it's
interesting.
it's no longer in theaters, by the way. So yeah, it
that's
was
what I
just
thought.
that
It was
weekend.
only like a week. Yeah, no, it was
Okay.
a week. But yeah, but in a week though, pretty sure that means it made more money than Last Jedi. How much money did Last Jedi make?
It made
Let's
over $1
take a look.
billion. It made over $1 billion.
over $1 billion?
But it had
And it's
what happened.
available, and it is available on Disney Plus, right? It's not like you can't see it otherwise. People actually went to go out and took the time out of the way to see it. It still made $1 billion.
So, but the thing with Last Jedi, you have to is that it made about 1.5 to potentially 2 times less than The Force Awakens, and if I'm remembering it correctly, I could be wrong, but it had a massive drop off in the second week, like significant drop off in the second week, like more than what most movies have.
And then to talk about its impact on the box office, Solo bombed. That was the movie that followed The Last Jedi.
And Tross, let's be real, Tross probably bombed too with all of the marketing, all of the reshoots, the already massive budget. It probably bombed or maybe just barely broke even.
Tross was fun because like
it was just awful.
We had a Game of Thrones season 8 fucking thing in repeat because like even the cast was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah. And they had ships that didn't know how to go up.
No, I'm just saying like just the production wise.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the Game of Thrones season 8 shit. Like Kit. The biggest one is Kit Harington was asked, "What do you think about the new season? What do you think of the last season?" And he literally sticks for a second, and goes, "Disappointing."
Yeah.
And they go,
wasn't that most of the cast?
Or epic? I don't know. Like literally, that's exactly what he says.
So just numbers wise, I quickly pulled it up. Force Awakens in worldwide made $2 billion, and Rise of Skywalker only made $1 billion. So it literally is half the profits.
Yeah.
Even The Acolyte, despite its immense controversy upon release, has seen the conversation.
God, the choreography's awful. Sorry.
Substantially.
Yeah, because people don't want to remember The Acolyte. The Acolyte is like a fucking cancer. Yeah, that episode is praised.
Canceled.
I know, but like I just saw that like because I'm playing a game in the background to keep my sanity, but I just look over and I just see these absolute dog shit choreography, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and again, like because I saw Revenge of the Sith, like watching that fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, it's like, man, these actually do look like two people, two like samurai with superpowers trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
And then you see freaking Ahsoka's dream sequence. Like, what the hell happened?
Well, that's
we watched
Anakin
that
was
recently. Hayden still got it. It's the weirdest fucking thing to see.
Hayden is nerfing himself because Rosario Dawson, I don't think really tried with she probably tried with her acting because
she's practically slow motion in those scenes.
Yeah, well, no, she tried with her like acting, but like she was given nothing to work with because
she was acting in that show.
I don't know. Maybe she was voting in it because she's like, this script is shit, Filoni is shit, but I'm getting paid a lot of money, so fuck it, I'll be here.
The sequel trilogy naturally stands out as the final third of the Skywalker saga, but even among those films, The Last Jedi stands out. And that's because it's the film with the most worth analyzing artistically. A film's artistic merit is subjective, of course, and it changes.
No, it's not. For the 50th goddamn time that we've ever done either of these on YARP, Dragon's Den, or any other fucking show, it is not subjective, you fucking asshole.
Well, the thing is, like, what does he mean by artistic
merit? To put a little bit more substance into than just what Wyatt said. Put a picture of the Mona Lisa and put a picture of a stick figure with titties next to each other.
Yeah.
You can objectively say which one's better.
True, but like I also want to know what he means by artistic merit, because artistic merit from pretty much at least these fucks just
it's how it made you feel.
Yeah, but and it's like you take a look at fucking Rebel Moon is always like going to be like the perfect example of like Zach's, if you want to say like artistic merit as in like what does the like the artistry of like the craft and like incorporating themes, symbolism, plot, and character. Rebel Moon is it's not only is it Zack Snyder's worst movies, it's like you have a bunch of imagery and symbolism that is utterly pretentious because it is void of meaning. You have a horrible plot, horrible characters. I would even argue that Rebel Moon, in terms of just a film in and of itself, is worse than The Last Jedi.
Well, yeah, why would we, because even on cinematography level, why are we focusing so hard on slow motion wheat?
Yeah, like, if you want to talk about artistic merit in the sense of the craft of it, then no, that's not purely subjective. But if you want to talk about how it made you feel, then okay, fine. But, like, you need to define what you mean by artistic merit. Like, you really do. Because for a lot of people, like they mean different things when they say it.
Over time, works like Moby Dick or the artwork of Van Gogh were seen as trash at the time of their debut. but later were re-embraced as masterworks.
Haven't
Now,
seen these.
Am I saying The Last Jedi is the new Moby Dick?
Okay, no. So here, like, I'm gonna
as I
be
was
a
saying,
better
it's like,
example. Let's talk about something that was actually good that was snubbed. The Thing. That was
Yeah.
You're
snubbed.
saying Moby Dick's not good?
I meant more mainstream. That was
Well,
was
me.
You're
Paul.
saying Moby
or-
Dick's not mainstream? Like,
Moby Dick is mainstream. Moby Dick is a highly
I was gonna
referenced
say,
and how people know.
I was gonna say, what's your
Fair-
fucking point here? Anytime any
The-
revenge story is talked about, the
So,
first
fair
fucking
enough.
thing
Yes,
people
it is
talk about
Ahab.
is
Yes.
that fucking
Well,
goddamn
we
whale.
also the term
that-
and also the term "that's my white whale" comes from
That's your
Moby
white
Dick.
whale.
So
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
that we
that
would
was a
know
poor
in terms
example.
of movies that we've seen, because I haven't
Yes.
seen the film of Moby Dick. I've read the book.
Okay. Yeah, the cinematic masterpiece of Moby Dick.
Also, Star Trek First Contact.
But then the point that I was going to make was The Thing was snubbed.
Yes.
The Thing is a great movie, and people back then were just fucking wrong for
Yeah.
snubbing it.
Yeah, they said the special effects in the thing
This
looked
get-
cheap when it first came out. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They said the music was nominated for a Razzie. It's like, what? The music in The Thing is fantastic. What are you
Yeah, that's
talking about?
that low like dun dun.
And then, so he could be right for all we know when it comes to the Van Gogh movie. Like,
What? Why do you keep talking about movies? Van Gogh was an artist.
no,
the movie
he's talking
of
about
there's a movie
specifically
about Van
the-
Gogh. In his
Yeah, that
life.
was what Willem Dafoe was. He was playing Van Gogh because you could tell because he cut his ear off.
No, but he was talking about like Van Gogh's art, though. At the time,
No,
Van Gogh's
it's-
art was actually
No, he's talking about the movie about Van Gogh.
Yeah,
Was he? I thought he was talking about Van Gogh's art because that's so well known.
Well,
now.
there's-
Van
well,
Gogh
well,
was
the
not
thing
considered
is-
really well done.
the-
He's the example. What I'm trying to say is he's the example of like to be like a famous artist, you need to die. Basically, that's the
Yeah.
No,
example
he's
is
saying
Van
that the
Gogh.
movie no one cared about it at first, but then it grew.
Well, and also Van Gogh's
I-
art, the man's
I-
art in general, that it also grew immensely.
I have not seen the Willem Dafoe movie that is
No,
about
but
Van Gogh.
I feel like I feel like you guys are missing the point of his analogy though, because I don't think he's talking about the movies. I think he's talking about
Yeah, no, I
just
get, yeah,
the
yeah,
stories and the people. Like he's talking about art.
yeah. Like Van Gogh's art was not. Yeah, you are right. Like Van Gogh's art was
Yeah.
not seen very highly when it released, but then, like later on after his unfortunate death, then like everyone saw it for like the actual great pieces of work that they were.
Yeah, like I said, Van Gogh is the example of like to be a successful artist, you basically have to die.
Yeah.
So let's kill Ryan Johnson and then. Oh, so no, that's inciting violence. I can't say that. If he then snuffed it, then does Last Jedi become good?
I don't know. No.
No, Jumper would be a cinematic masterpiece.
You mean
No.
Looper?
Obvious.
Yeah, Looper. Jumper is the one with Hayden Christensen.
I
They
know,
can teleport.
I know. I messed those up in my head. Whatever. They're the same memorable factor, anyways.
Looper with the one scene where Bruce Willis just goes, "Don't think about it." It's like, all right, you don't do that to your audience.
Ew. But later were re-embraced as masterworks. Now, am I saying The Last Jedi is the new Moby Dick? No, obviously not. What are you, stupid? There's no whales in it. But from a historic perspective,
I guess.
Hang on. Technically, it did, didn't it? Or
No.
am I talking? Or am I thinking about the Rise of Skywalker, where it
You
had
think
like?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, you're talking about Rise.
Yeah,
you're talking
okay.
about Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, then in that case, no.
you associate it with another great work of literature, reviled for changing the source material upon which it was based, which we will get to in the later half of this video.
Oh, cool.
Why
Set
not
up.
right now?
Hey, asshole!
Why not right
Just
now?
for-
say
Foreshadowing.
it.
We'll come back to that in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Whatever. If we even remember what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's talk right now about The Last Jedi. What is the big deal about this film? What is it about?
What is the
Why
deal
do
with The
people
Last
seem to
Jedi?
care so much? What's the controversy? And why does this controversy still persist
Mm-hmm.
years later? And why
Okay, he's setting up these questions. We don't have to
Why
answer
do I
them.
feel the
He's setting up
compromised
questions.
vision that Rian Johnson brought to Star Wars matters to this very day in the conversation surrounding Disney and its use of Star Wars as a brand? The Last Jedi follows up The Force Awakens, which was made by J.J. Abrams. Now, J.J. Abrams
Yes.
was given the unenviable task of revitalizing Star Wars for a new era after the controversial prequels. Prequels, mind you, at
Okay,
They weren't.
that is not unenviable.
I wouldn't have said
No.
that.
That is
too
not
controversial.
unenviable. That
Yeah,
is
meanwhile-
not unenviable. Hey,
You know how excited we
you
would
are-
be?
You are going to direct the next trilogy of Star Wars movies. Yo, like that is the hype.
But more, the
I would-
prequels didn't become controversial until after their release. They were pretty much universally
is-
loved when they were released.
Well, no, but he is speaking of it as afterwards, and yes, they are loved now. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't like his premise of the unenviable task of starting a new trilogy for Star Wars. That is billion%
Like,
cap.
not
What are you
and
talking about?
just
Like,
and
it's a holy
Literally a dream
grail.
job. It's,
Yeah,
hey,
like-
your fucking boy Ryan Johnson described it as a dream job, asshole. You
And
don't
also-
understand the point you're making.
in
Also,
terms-
yeah, it would just be a dream job in general. Because imagine, yeah, you were asked, all right, follow up with the original trilogy characters. Here's a bunch of money. Go.
Yeah,
But
maybe-
more importantly, like regardless of the quality of the prequel films in and of itself, the IP of Star Wars during the prequel era and even afterward was so healthy. There was so much extended material like comics, games, movies. It was like not movies, books, and then a Clone Wars show, which, regardless of its quality, people really liked it. But then it was such a healthy franchise even after the prequels, and so that means that like there was going to be a lot of vested interest in the Force Awakens, and in
Like,
the short term it
there
paid off.
was.
Certainly, yeah, there was a
Yeah, there
huge,
was.
yeah, there was like
it
people,
was huge.
yeah.
Everybody loved The Force Awakens when it came out.
yeah,
And
exactly,
Yeah,
what's
I did.
What's interesting is when you brought up video games, there is when it comes to even the rate at which they came out even got affected, because remember when LucasArts was just giving them to fucking everyone, we had a Star Wars game practically every single goddamn year, and like they're like good or bad, they were fucking pumping them out. Now with like especially when when this all started and they handed the game franchise over to fucking EA, we were lucky to get a Star Wars game like every 2 or 3 years. Like the quality has kind of gotten better, but then when there be quality, there'd also be a major downside because it's EA. Battlefront 2 was one of the most controversial fucking games of that year.
And then Star
Because
Wars
it's
Outlaws
basically-
came out that didn't even work
Oh.
properly.
Yeah,
Well, that's Ubisoft. that's a whole other.
we
dragon.
promise our game will be finished. Good.
Why are you saying that as like
that's the bare minimum.
you've accomplished the bare minimum? What, you want a cookie?
the time with the most reviled works of media around.
No, they
Okay.
weren't.
He's trying to build off that point of like it's just YouTubers that hated this, because of course he's going to talk about the Plinkett reviews and like it's the worst thing since my son.
Ryan
And-
Johnson.
And the problem with that is like yeah, it started all of this, but they're not perfect. In the, like, you remember when EFAP covered their Revenge of the Sith thing? It's like there's plenty that they missed, like either for jokes, like moments to put in jokes, or they just got things just outright wrong. Like these are not perfect reviews. Just like how like in this review of the Phantom Menace, they said there's no protagonist. It's like there
is.
very much is. Like everything's CGI. No, the practicals had prequel sets. There were like, the Bunta Eve Stadium, for example. Like that's entirely a miniature. There's plenty of examples. They got stuff wrong. So to build off this point, I bet he's gonna go, and because of this, they've always been wrong.
All right, well,
Star Wars:
let's.
The Phantom Menace was the most disappointing thing since my son.
And they have a ton of problems. The biggest, though, is how they relied on these giant ideas, but the execution of those ideas alienated audiences. The dialogue was
It didn't.
I dare
That's just-
you.
it
I
didn't, though.
dare you.
Maybe
Talk about how you don't like sand.
like okay, but maybe like years after they came out, but like during the time they were coming out, it didn't alienate the audience. What are you talking about?
The
It
only
was just,
people that
just some bad dialogue. That was it. It didn't affect the fucking whole movie.
So here's the thing: the only people that 100% like vitriolically hated the prequels were a lot older Star Wars fans. Meanwhile, the younger generations, we were just excited to see Star Wars. Like, because people were, even like as early back as the Phantom Menace, people were lining up in theaters, like outside, so they could see this movie.
Yeah. And like, yeah, you have like those, like that song, what was it called? Lucas Raped My Childhood or whatever. But like at the time, those were like the minority of people. It wasn't, and even afterwards, people still like had a fondness for them. The prequel memes are still being used to this day.
I giggled at every meme that I saw.
Yeah, like hello there, and then it's like
General Kenobi.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
And you underestimate my power and stuff like that.
Unlimited
The negotiator
power. Like the memes
From my
have lived on.
perspective, it's Star Wars that was evil.
Like yeah,
then you are lost.
Yeah, like
Friend, you are crazy.
Everyone is good.
Okay, yeah, like the prequel memes even ascended to the point of the fucking
Backstroke of the West.
Backstroke of the West, yes, the fucking fandom.
I have the moral high ground.
Yeah, but like yeah, those memes are taking the piss out of like the dialogue and how it was really clunky and wooden, and just oftentimes bad. But the way that they're utilized is in a mocking way, but it's also an endearment, because like yeah, this stuff's not good, but we enjoy it. People like the prequels. I like the prequels despite their many issues, because there's stuff there that's worth liking. There is nothing that is worth liking about the sequels.
Also, I'll continue like to defend this scene to like, not to my deathbed, but it's like, no, it makes sense from like a meta, not even meta perspective, from like
a character perspective,
from the because it's Anakin, who has lived on a planet made entirely of sand as a slave. He's grown to resent it, and Naboo is basically paradise.
Yeah, so like
he doesn't like sand.
Well, you could have retooled the dialogue a bit, actually had Hayden redo his lines, George. Because Hayden was like, George, can I please redo my lines? Please, can I do a different take? I'm like, no, I'm making Star Wars.
Maybe Natalie needs to get off all the drugs that she's currently on, because I swear, at least Hayden was giving a shit, and then why did I say Portman was fucking, to be angry is to be human. Hayden Portman.
Sloppy.
I don't like sand.
Yep.
The excessive effects looked bad and artificial.
No, they don't.
Some look a bit.
Some look a bit weird.
I was gonna say, as much as I love Attack of the Clones, no, dude, like some of those are shit.
Well, but that effect that he was showing, right? There are some bad effects. The fact that that there's not a single person in like clone armor to like even give a baseline for that stuff is fucking weird. But when like he was showing that scene of him Obi-Wan walking through the temple, that looked fine. Like, that is not the example you should show if you want to talk shit on this.
Yeah.
Not ready for some of those effects to be such a big part of the filmmaking process.
Well, also George Lucas had to once again invent different filmmaking processes to get a lot of these effects to actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
He literally how many times has George had to literally invent new shit to make his movies? Like a whole bunch.
Yes,
it's like that innovation and care and love to the movie is just not there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Characters felt underdeveloped, and events often transpired without clear cause and effect. There's a statement from the writers of South.
That's not true.
That's super cut, but all right.
Cause Maul's probe droids find Qui-Gon. Effect: he attacks them in the desert. Even something as simple as that.
Cause like the shit involving the Trade Federation and the Republic being bloated bureaucracy. Effect: the CIS is formed, and thus the Clone Wars start.
Mm-hmm.
Began the Clone Wars house.
Yep.
The Gungans.
Gungans.
Say if you're writing a script and you say the characters do this and this happened, they already reject it. It should be the characters do this so this happens, or but this happens.
Which is in the that level of storytelling is in the prequels. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Also, you're getting into such a level of script writing that your average person doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker
Well, the thing is,
teams up with Palpatine because he wasn't getting the respect that he thought he needed from the Jedi.
Yeah.
Not and it happened.
That and the answers they gave him about his secret wife. They were like, all right, I see somebody dying in visions. Just don't care, Lamau.
Yeah.
Cause, effect. Good storylines rely on cause and effect to drive action. And in the prequels, it often feels like cause and effect is kind of random.
It's not.
Okay, right? Well, hang on. Let me give an example.
Take the first film, The Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, go to meet the Trade Federation to settle some trade disputes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
droids attack because the Trade Federation wants to stop these discussions from happening. So they go to Naboo. And they encounter Jar Jar Binks. Now,
Wait.
you see right there,
This is all cause and effect, though, you fucking retard. Like,
Also- Also,
like you're describing cause and effect. Like that's why I was like, let him make an example. Yeah. So the Trade Federation wants to kill the Jedi ambassadors because they want this to not be like known. Like they want to keep the secret. And make it so the ambassadors aren't shown. Yeah, that's the cause. So the effect is the Jedi have to get the fuck out of there because they're going to be assassinated.
yeah,
they go to
or
Naboo.
just even
like, what do you, you're describing cause.
yeah, just to, like in that same fucking that same vein, cause the Jedi are there to negotiate. Effect, Sidious wants them fucking killed. That's just
Yes.
that is just it. Like
Yeah,
even on a
crazy.
bare bones,
Well,
like bring it back as far as possible. Yes, that is cause and effect.
He's talking about like he's giving an example of like cause and effect with Trade Federation stuff, and he's like, but they run into Jar Jar.
Yeah, but the problem is he's like they don't have cause and effect. Like he was just literally describing cause and effect. Like fucking Qui-Gon saves Jar Jar because he's a Jedi. You know what I mean? And the effect is Jar Jar puts a life debt on him. That's like, you know what I mean? Like,
And the reason why
describing
Jar
cause
Jar
and
was
effects. Like that's you're fucking breaking your own point.
and
God
even makes
damn it. Is
sense
this gonna be an hour and
for
fucking 15 minutes of this shit?
Yes.
this is even like why was Jar Jar even there?
Exactly.
Because he was banished. Like and thus like he knows the location of the Gungan city. And because he doesn't want to fucking die from battle droids, takes Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to the Gungan city.
Yeah.
the
Stab
so-called
and
effect
with a pen.
to stop these discussions from happening. So they go to Naboo. And they encounter Jar Jar Binks. Now, you see right there, the cause and effect thing ends. They meet Jar Jar Binks,
Does
and
it?
they have to go.
Doesn't.
It
No.
doesn't.
Does
No.
it? Does it? Like, come on, give me this example.
Are
Or
you
just
sure?
gonna stop? Are you just gonna stop? Are you sure? Are you sure? Threw a Jar Jar into space.
to the capital of Naboo. So Jar Jar brings them to the Gungan city, and they go to Gungan city, and what does that have to do with the capital?
It's a
Because they're
safe
trying
place
to
for the
get
moment.
To Naboo. They're trying to get to the fucking what is it?
The
Theed Palace
Theed.
or whatever? Yeah.
Yes, they're trying to get to
We
Theed.
need transport. Like fucking yeah. We need
And-
to get away from the droids. So now we're at a place where we can negotiate for transport. What are you talking about? You absolute fucking dick cheese. What is this? God damn it! I could have just taken today off.
Yeah, you didn't have to come into the booth.
I was just like, hey guys, you want to hang out where I play Freedom Wars? And it's like, oh, that's what y'all. Oh, well, this could be
like,
fun. Cause and
like
effect.
Max saw the recording in progress and went, "This doesn't mean anything because I can't read."
Basically.
See again, right there. It's a little
Alexa,
murky.
stop.
Yes, we know how it logically brings the characters to the Naboo capital, but it's a lot of murkiness. It doesn't seem
No,
like
there's
a
not.
logical
It
series
is.
of events
If I'm
that
going to
transpire.
be, if I'm going to be as good faith as possible. It is murky, and then the fact that they're in really shitty looking water. Yeah. But your point. Is fucking valid.
Magnus,
Well, if you're literally going to be literal about it.
Yeah.
Why did you harm your son? How could you?
He was. Maybe he shouldn't be sitting right behind my chair. It has wheels, and I didn't see him. I'm sorry.
Just put him in your lap and hold him the entire time.
I mean, I can do that. As he just starts wriggling around.
But fuck.
Continue.
Yes,
Yeah.
before you comment, I know they go to Gungan City initially to avoid the Trade Federation droids because the city is hidden.
Okay, so you know your point's bullshit.
So
Okay.
you know your point's bullshit. So cool, interesting, really riveting.
Why do these
riveting-
people do
riveting
this?
Gameplay. What did the developers mean by this?
Why do they always disregard their own point the second they say it? I don't.
Because they're stupid. They make a fucking point that sounds good on paper and makes them like it's literally gish galloping. It's literally them just talking shit to fill time and to make them sound smarter than they actually are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally just them talking. Like, yeah, oh yeah, but look, see, I can acknowledge that I made a mistake. It's like, yeah, then why did you make it?
Don't
It's a script, you fucking idiot. It's not a discussion.
And also, after the fact, he could just edit that part out and then just carry on as if it never existed, instead of just going back on the thing he literally just said.
Yep.
The safest place would be Gonga City. Is where I grew up. 'Tis a hidden city.
And yes, I am aware they go to Gungan City to get the vehicles, to travel to the planet core, to get to the Naboo capital. However, the problem is this isn't clearly communicated to us, and indeed, it feels as though
How?
the action...
How?
What do you
How
They
is
mean?
it-
literally show it.
It is the most simplest fucking thing ever.
Are
They go
we
to
gonna
the
need
city, they talk to the people, the guy refuses, so he does the Jedi mind trick thing. Do we have to put a fucking circle around his hand and an arrow pointing to this fucking hand? What are
Yes.
you
Like-
fucking doing?
Did we need to fucking have the Spaceballs thing of like they will crush us into tiny little pieces and blast us into oblivion? Everybody got that?
Everybody got that? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it feels like it. Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? Like, dude,
I might have to check out, man, because fucking hell, dude. Like, if this is gonna be the video, I
that's
can't do it.
understandable. That is understandable. I do not blame
That's-
you.
So, point one he's made is trash. Interesting.
Yes.
And then he even admits it's trash, so cool. But then he doesn't even understand the folly of like what he is because he's too big. He's too big brain to understand the plot of Shrek 2.
Yeah.
driving the narrative hits a wall. Like, yeah, is there an explanation for it? Yeah. Is there cause and effect? To an extent, sure. But the problem is, the audience doesn't see this clearly unless you're really paying attention to every single line.
No. So listening to the dialogue, got it.
It's the hidden subtleties of, hey, we don't want to.
The Hibble subtleties.
So if we want to talk about an actual, like, we could talk about as far as protagonist conflict with the antagonist minions, for example, like the droids versus the Jedi. Those regular battle droids, they're fucking meaningless. So when we see them bring out the lightsaber, we know they're gonna do it. But that's the point that they're trying to make is that while Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon can handle these things, we're more worried about the people that are behind them, because it's an escape scene as they're trying to get onto the ship. And then that tension comes back once they're on the spaceship, because what are they gonna do? Get on the hull and block laser blasts with lightsabers? Oh wait, Ahsoka did that.
Oh, so it's good then.
Yeah, it's good. It's good then, yeah.
Which, let's be fair, the way Jar Jar talks, it can be a little difficult. Events are presented in a way that's very disjointed. Take Anakin and Padme's romance. It's often complicated by artificial romantic sets and this unnatural forced dialogue.
I don't like sand.
It's shut up. Shut up about the I don't like sand. Find a different one. There's plenty of others.
You know what? There is. Immediately the fact that Anakin is talking about wanting to establish a dictatorship, and Padme doesn't fucking see that as a red flag.
Especially as a senator who works in a democratic republic.
And that's
You're
not-
studying to be a Jedi? I'm a senator. Okay, so for one of those things I get, but what about the other?
how aggressive Anakin comes across in Attack of the Clones.
It's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's jealous. He's
Put
holding
me back. Pause for a moment. Sorry. I thought he was about to play the whole scene. I was about to like pause for copyright.
No, he should have played the meme.
Yeah.
Poor fucking old man, Colonel Sanders walking in front of him.
But like that scene. But that scene that he's playing happened after he killed the fucking Tuscans after his mom was brutally murdered.
And then if we want to take the like, since it's a real hot topic, there's possibly they raped her.
Hell yeah.
And if you go by the novelization, they describe the fact that every time she breathed, it was like fucking painful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Tuscans got what they deserved.
They deserve.
No,
they're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals.
I hate them.
You guys don't get it. They're like misunderstood.
I don't care. I clapped every
Were they
time.
the first people of Tatooine? Yes, but they're still
Probably.
shooting at me, so I'm going to kill them.
They're like orcs. They had families and everything like black people.
Yep.
Yeah, but like no, that scene like that scene is after he fucking whatever.
And again, their relationship is this is happening, and they're having a romance. It doesn't feel like the romance is tied in with the events beyond there being a space facilitated for them to romance in.
The fuck's he talking about?
They're on a paradise planet having picnics and sitting by firelit. I almost said firelit dinner. No, they're just sitting there on the couch, lit by a fire. While Padme's dressed in a BDSM dress. What do you mean?
I think he's tried talking about how like the romance just seems to be random. He's talking about how the romance is random because it's not. Regardless of how we want to talk about how good it is, there's plenty of reasons why Anakin would be in love with Padme.
Yeah, it's been waiting to see her since he was a fucking kid.
Not to mention, like, there's even like stuff that could be seen as cute and flirty. The floating pair. Master Obi-Wan saw this; he'd be very grumpy. And he's demonstrating his power with the Force. He's showing off because that's who Anakin is. He is a show-off.
Yeah, he is.
Doesn't feel organic. But that said, not all of the prequels are bad. Revenge of the Sith is the best of the prequels because I feel it's the easiest film to follow. You see very clearly how...
I'm sorry, if you can't follow Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, then you're a fucking dumbass.
It's very easy to follow Phantom Menace, in fact, because it's like...
Well, the problem is it was too subtle on whether or not they need to run away from the droids and...
Yeah, the George is incredibly unsubtle.
It's big brain tactics to figure that shit out.
George is known for his unsubtle and subtle and hidden dialogues.
You know the most fucked up thing too is like he actually had a layup. He could have talked about the politics being talked about on Coruscant.
Yeah, because
he didn't even talk about that. He just talked about the guys going through a forest, then going through the water, then going through the palace. It's very fucking easy. 1, 2, 3. Guess what? The ship is damaged. We gotta fix the ship. Where do we go fix the ship? Gotta go to the desert planet. Go to the desert planet. Hey, we need to fix ship. You don't got no money. Cool. We gotta get money. Hey, this kid is helping us out. He's gonna help us get money. Like this is all easy. There's nothing.
Granted, there is like the weird part where it's like, okay, George, why is this the circumstance instead of they just sell the ship they currently have, get a cheap freighter, and then just beeline it straight to Coruscant?
There's an argument to be made that you don't want to do that because selling a ship like that could potentially bring attention to them.
That is fair. Well, that's why.
And easily on a fucking planet like Tatooine, you could easily be sold a ship that'll just fucking break down the second you break orbit.
That is fair.
You're easy pickings for a bounty hunter.
You can't take the princess there. The Hutts are gangsters. If they discover her,
exactly.
This is true. Yeah.
So yeah. Fuck that argument. I'm tired. Like Phantom Menace is actually not awful. Like
the one movie like of all the prequels that does deserve like the jabs at it. It's like some segments of Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones.
I was gonna say Attack of the Clones is easily my favorite movie. It is easily the worst one.
Yeah.
I still get entertainment value even from like knowing behind the scenes shit. Like the Droid Factory, for example. You want to talk about the over effects? You could have shown that.
Yes.
Because nothing in that set piece was real. Like, you see behind the scenes of Natalie Portman just running on a green screen conveyor belt while the fucking squares are painted out, and she's just flailing around.
I'm pretty sure back then wasn't a blue screen.
Yeah, it was a blue screen.
Yeah, no, it was green screen.
Was it green?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It was the original trilogy was when it was blue screen because they had trouble modeling art 2 during the space scenes.
And here's the thing, his fucking smooth brain couldn't even point at the actual issues of the fucking movie, where, like, once you actually get to Coruscant and start getting into politicalisms with fucking Palpatine, maybe somebody should be like, yo, this guy seems to be making a lot of moves to put himself in proper fucking thing.
You know, this Palpatine guy just looks evil.
Yeah.
Palpatine was not at all.
Somebody put a hood over his eyes. Oh my god, it's Darth Sidious!
You know, it's fucking Qui-Gon. You know, when we got to Coruscant, we were greeted by that fucking senator dude. Like, I just got like the worst fucking feeling in my stomach. That was crazy.
Like he was made of pure evil, or
yeah, it was like when we were next to that Sith Lord on Tatooine. Yeah, exactly.
No, even Kid Anakin, who was like barely acknowledging his Force powers, just like, oh my god, that guy's evil.
We suspect that there is
We'll be watching your career with great curiosity. Dad?
we suspect that there's a Sith Lord in the Senate. All right, let's do a midichlorian.
Sith Lord.
All right, we're gonna do a midichlorian test.
So, question, because I'm a little bit unclear as something about Palpatine. The amount of knowledge that he has about Jedi lore, about Darth Sidious and all that kind of stuff, bringing people back to life. No, I mean Darth Plagueis. Yeah. So all that stuff, would a senator like him have all that knowledge?
No,
or would that be like top
no.
tier
You want to
with
talk about the biggest red flag of Revenge of the Sith? The entire opera scene is like, all right, are you evil?
That is when Anakin was like, "What the fuck, dude? Why do you know all this shit?"
No, the moment that he's like, "How do you know so much about the Force?" is when he right after Obi-Wan's fighting Grievous, and that's when he finally reveals himself. It's like, my mentor taught me everything about the Force, even the nature of the dark side. Use my knowledge, I beg you. You're the Sith Lord. Yes, it took me.
You must be the murderer.
No, I need him.
Dude.
That was for you, Wyatt. That was for you.
It really is just you hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. How do you know that?
How do you know me?
Is it possible to learn this power? Not from a Jedi.
Wink, wink.
Are you evil?
Lead into what follows. It is that cause and effect structure. You understand what everyone wants and what their motivations are, and it leads to.
You did that in the previous two, but okay.
The moment is presented on screen. It's not a great movie, but it feels like a cinematic story that has some weight behind it.
Feels like a cinematic story.
Feels like a cinematic story. What do you? What define cinematic story outside of a story in a movie?
Actually, we cut him off. Let him finish the whole sentence. Back it up a little bit.
All right.
See very clearly how events lead into what follows. It is that cause and effect structure. You understand what everyone wants and what their motivations are, and it leads to scenes where the catharsis of the moment is presented on screen. It's not a great movie, but it feels like a cinematic story that has some weight behind the actions because we understand what events transpired to lead inevitably to the tragic conclusion. Now, Abrams,
That
was a word salad for most of that sentence.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I don't have anything to comment on it. That was just him like
fill that dead air, baby.
we gotta stretch it out to an hour and a half somehow.
Also, I think Samuel Jackson is a badass for wanting to actually make his lightsaber purple.
He inadvertently made lore.
Yes,
yeah, because the thing about purple essentially means you have power, you have control over light and dark.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And not to mention, so Revenge of the Sith was PG-13. They had one fuck that they could have used. It should have, like, Hayden cuts off Mace Windu's hand. Oh, motherfucker!
No, as he's flying away.
They could have done like
you have your plausible deniability with it. You know what I mean?
No, they could have done Infinity War where he said the mother but couldn't finish the fucker.
Yeah, as he's being thrown out the window. Like, George, you could have taken that risk. It is a fun little fact for those who don't know. It is like the most well-known fun fact. Samuel L. Jackson has a replica of his lightsaber, and written in Arabic is "bad motherfucker."
I didn't know that part. That's good.
Yeah.
Damn, I need to figure out how to type that onto my lightsaber.
Saw the problem with the prequel.
Which lightsaber is yours? It's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
In bocce.
Some weight behind the
Hey, you
actions
know we're fucking fans of Star
because
Wars.
we understand what events transpired to lead inevitably to the tragic conclusion. Now, Abrams, he saw the problem with the prequels, that it was disjointed, and with his films, he decided the direction to go in was to make the narrative flow feel cathartic. The Force Awakens is a highly structured film designed to give audience little time to linger on events that are happening. It's designed to please the average.
It's designed so you don't think about it, but whatever.
Crowd.
Yeah.
But as a result, the film leaves you with a lot of questions. For example, what's the First Order? We're never really told this in the first film. How is the Resistance, that is led by Leia, different from the New Republic they just built at the end of the previous trilogy?
You have to read like 3 prequel novels to understand that the Resistance is their quote-unquote military. But it doesn't make sense why they would be the Resistance because the Republic is in power and the First Order are the ones trying to usurp that power. So Resistance doesn't even fucking make sense as a term, but whatever.
Yeah, why are they the Resistance? Aren't they just
Good old mystery box.
Yeah, it's mystery boxes that were never fucking answered.
Oh, the literal mystery box when Rey opens the chest, it sees the fucking lightsaber.
Yeah, how did
question for another time?
With the other time that we never fucking got.
Yeah, because for some reason they decided to change fucking directors midstream.
Yeah.
They should have just
You're
locked
saying-
that.
You're setting up a bunch of plot points and stuff. How about we give it to a different fucking creator?
That should have been in his contract. That he's like, no, you have to make all 3.
Yeah.
At the very least, like
to help you, you can have like fucking other people to basically fucking check you if you need to. But no,
Hell.
you're making all 3.
Hell, like even if you want to do a George Lucas and have like other people actually behind the thing, you have to be there.
yeah, to guide them.
It's the essential same thing as like a showrunner for something. You have to have somebody who has the vision. You can't just have somebody who has the money bags.
Yeah. And then you bring in a guy who has a different vision and literally throws out like basically everything that the previous movie set up and established, and as such you have something that's incredibly disjointed and disconnected.
To the point that the next movie is basically 2 directors just shitting at each other.
Yes.
And by the way, I realized I never actually posted my lightsaber, so
I've been meaning to ask about that because I've of course, me being a massive simp, have a Kyle Katarn one.
You just want to marry Kyle Katarn, don't you?
He's the perfect man.
So that's in chat. I just posted it.
That's awful Sith looky for a lightsaber.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of guts to it.
All right.
All of them had like their own like little thing or whatever.
Yeah.
The description of this hilt was power and control.
Yeah, as opposed to nature and balance and the serenity and something. I forgot the third one.
Yeah, there's 4. Which Mo, when she made hers, she made it with the nature one, and it literally looks like a fucking like a Wookiee like mishmash.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
One of my favorite designs from the old EU, Tenel Ka made her lightsaber hilt out of a Rancor tooth.
And if you notice the hilt thing, it looked, or if you notice the crossguard you want to call it, I got it as close as possible to Revan's lightsaber, which is just the Star Force.
Yes.
Because Revan is the shit. It's the best.
I'm surprised you haven't bought the Revan saber because that's only like $200.
Yeah, I didn't want this one, and I didn't want my little sister to spend that much. So like, but she did it for me, and like, not gonna lie, it almost made me cry. But yeah. And yeah, I still gotta figure out how to get that fucking video because it's 16 minutes long, so she can't just email it over.
Is that?
Like,
Can you?
I do want to have that full video shown.
I meant to ask. Can you actually fight with that thing, or is that
No,
like?
it's not a lightsaber.
Oh, see that's where mine is. Mine's that like heavy duty. Like I could swing this motherfucker like a bat, and it won't even look.
Like the hilt is actually fucking fairly like weighty. Like it's, I don't know, maybe a solid fucking like 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy.
Star Wars.
We're taking a quick break because fuck this guy. I need a sanity break, and I gotta go do my laundry in a second.
All right.
What do you guys feel about lightsabers? Should they be heavy or should they be light?
Light.
Light.
It's literally all the weights in the handle. Like
It depends on
shouldn't
how you
weigh that
interpret
much.
what the blade is made out of. Like, 'cause, like it has all the properties of plasma, which is matter, which has weight.
Well, and like I always assumed I always assumed it was like holding like a jet engine kind of thing. So like the lightsaber isn't just forming outward, it's protruding out, like it's like shooting outwards. Like so there's basically there's constant recoil is my
Yeah, that you're not wrong. Like that's actually kind of like in the old EU, that's how they would explain it. Is like why it's so difficult to swing is because not only is all the weight in the handle, but because you're projecting so much power that it's like you literally needed their own martial arts just to be able to properly swing that thing and not cut your own arm off.
Jedi training to not burn your fucking hands is hot as shit too.
And that's why people love to use the whole because Han used it to cut open the tauntaun. That's why normal people can use lightsabers. Like he just turned it on and then moved it like a foot. Like
and freezing weather as well.
Yeah, if he actually swung that thing, it would either immediately fly out of his hands and turn off, or if it was an old ass lightsaber, it'd fly out of his hands and cut said hands off.
And it is an old ass
as far as I
lightsaber. It's his
remember-
dad's.
As far as I remember, can't remember his name. Black guy in the sequel trilogy.
Finn.
Yeah. So he only used both arms, right? It wasn't like he just swung it around normally. So there's some kind of like, you need to have some skill to use it.
He also had military training as well, and while that may not necessarily
No, he's a janitor.
Shut your whore mouth. But like he has some level of military training that would also mean like melee weapons because we saw that one
Right, but even then, it's still something that is completely different to anything he's ever like wielded. He has to like focus on using it.
Well, yeah, but like the military training would help. The combat training would help with his like control and focus because like that's at least something to infer that some of it may translate to wielding it, even if it's not all of it.
He's not perfect with that thing when he fights the traitor guy.
I was gonna say, when he fights TR-AR, like he gets a shit rock.
Yeah, like he's just barely holding it back, and then once like after a few seconds gets fucking tapped and then goes flying. He has to be saved in that fight, and then also he does not hold his own against Kylo. Yeah, he gets him a scratch, but then the moment he scratches Kylo immediately disarms him and slashes him across the back.
Yeah.
God, man, going back to KOTOR, I really wish Rey was the fucking protagonist from KOTOR 2.
Just the wound in the Force.
There's that bit where he's like, "There's so much I could teach you," and she goes, "Teach." And if you play the dark side run of KOTOR 2, when you fight the Jedi Masters, you learn by just being in their presence because you're like this fucking Force abomination. I was so hoping that's what they were gonna do, and that would have been so much fucking cooler.
I was hoping that it was going to be similar to KOTOR 2, but that she was essentially going to be a ticking time bomb of Force energy with how powerful she was getting.
Well, that is what the Exile is. They are a ticking time bomb, and that's why Kreia values them, because they are the death of the Force. Like I said, there is a way better story that could have been told, and fucking hell, the ball was dropped.
Or just fucking do your own version of Heirs of the Empire.
Like I'm gonna go start my laundry, so I'll be right back. Y'all fucking continue with this asshole.
Okay.
No. How did we get here anyway? And while these answers would be partially answered by later shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, we're left.
No, they weren't answered at all.
No, they weren't.
I get my laundry up, so I heard that.
Yeah, Ahsoka doesn't answer shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we never got to know who freaking Snoke was. He was literally one and done with him.
No, we
then
know
found out that he's cloned by Palpatine.
he's a Palpatine clone.
We could have had this crazy fucking super massive badass fucking Sith Lord thing, but nah, he's a clone.
Hell, even if you wanted to go with the dumb fan theories that he was Plagueis, like there's a reality which that could have worked. You would have to do
anything could have worked. They just fumbled it.
Yeah, it's just one of the obvious fan theories was that he was Plagueis. One of the funny theory that I enjoyed was that he was the Master Skywalker kid.
Master Skywalker, what do we do?
I'm too big. What are you gonna do? I did,
Boo.
like, I really wish the fucking theory. I really wish he was actually that big.
Yeah.
With no real.
It's fucking aliens, dog. You could have done anything.
Yeah, you really could have done anything.
Answer here. I think it's telling how in The Force Awakens, the Starkiller base destroys the entire system that the Republican Senate is centered on, and audiences don't even know it happened. The average person probably doesn't even know that scene where they blow up all those planets. That's the Republican center. That's the center of the New Republic, and it's gone. And it's given no dignity. We are given no time to linger on how this impacts the saga.
Also, like, if we want to go for, like, we're destroying shit and we want it to mean something, one of those planets should have been Coruscant. Like, you just... Because it would have been
Hosmian Prime, the Hosmian system.
Why didn't they take over Coruscant after they won the battle?
Why is the Republic only 5 fucking planets?
Yeah, not even it's not even the main. If they were exploding like only 5 planets, like just destroying the Hosnian system, that wouldn't have. That like yeah, it's their head, but guess what? You wouldn't have crippled them as much as if you had destroyed their industry. If you had destroyed Kuat, Fondor, Corellia,
and then I mean, this shit matters though. That's the thing.
I just walk in, I hear those fucking the systems. You're like, oh my god.
They're the fucking heart.
I'm mad that I know half of them.
Good. And I bet you know a good chunk of them because of Empire at War, because you could only build Star Destroyers at Kuat or Fondor.
Nah, I just kind of skirmished. I kind of didn't really care for Galactic Conquest in that.
I played a few hours of it at a time.
Things fall apart if the center can't hold. Well, Abrams didn't seem to talk about that, but Rian Johnson did.
I'm sorry, I need to hear this. I need to hear this complete thought.
No dignity. We are given no time to linger on how this impacts the saga. Things fall apart if the center can't hold. Well, Abrams didn't seem to talk about that, but Rian Johnson did.
He didn't, though.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. Like, you want to talk about how bad it was? The new Empire. Fuck, I'm just gonna call them the new Empire because that's what they basically are. They lost their big planet-sized super weapon, and yet somehow they're dominating the galaxy. Despite
this is a back and forth that feels so fucking weird. Because they destroy the Hosnian system, they destroy Starkiller base, they somehow take over the galaxy. Holdo destroys the supremacy, and Snoke is killed. And then to rebalance the scales once more, Death Star Destroyers from the fucking ground.
Yeah,
that don't know which way is up.
Without a tower.
Why aren't they just in fucking orbit then?
The philosophy between what Rian Johnson had to pick up versus what J.J. Abrams dropped off.
What do you mean picked up? He didn't pick up. Like what he picked up, he threw the fuck away in the fucking garbage can. We don't. We want to get rid of the fucking helmet. Why?
Because it looks silly. It was literally what Rian Johnson said.
But like the idea of Kylo is that he so desperately wants to be Darth Vader, he's taking up that image of his grandfather.
Yeah.
That was part of his character.
And then, so fucking stupid, because then immediately, Rise of Skywalker, they put the helmet back together.
Yeah.
It's literally just two, like, the perfect analogy from transferring, like, the responsibility of directing Star Wars is literally the lightsaber. As Rey is holding it up to Luke. Like, Rey is J.J. Abrams and Luke is Ryan, and what does Luke immediately do? Throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah. God, I can't wait to hear him justify Luke becoming an old, sad, milk-drinking, hermit, hobo, pathetic asshat on a fucking island waiting to die who contemplated killing his fucking nephew.
You know, even go ahead. I'll say this point later if he actually brings up Luke.
Exploring how the First Order destroying the center of a republic can impact the loyalty between different systems. Rian Johnson was.
No, he didn't. What are you talking about?
He didn't do shit in regards to that. Is he talking about Canto Bight?
Maybe. I don't know, because Canto Bight's the most worthless part of that movie. You take it out, and nothing really changes.
Canto Bight is the fucking distraction in that movie to basically go, war is bad, and it's
capitalism
like,
is MR bad.
Like, war is bad. Capitalism's okay. It's the best system we got right now. But when it comes to like the necessity of war to fight evil, like the First Order, it's something you need to do.
Yeah.
If you want peace, prepare for war.
This key philosophical difference guides the direction of both films. One is more introspective and thoughtful, the other is more of a breakneck action narrative.
No. Okay, so or if you want to say introspective and thoughtful for The Last Jedi, I won't get to its specifics because you probably will. It's introspective in the same way that shooting yourself in the face is introspective. Like, sure, you know, I thought about it, and then I did it. Like, philosophical as of what the philosophy of the Jedi need to end. We need to burn the past. What?
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Even though the past is the reason why you're fucking here, Ryan, you stupid hack.
However, central to all the questions people had with The Force Awakens was one above all else. Why did Luke go looking for the first Jedi temple and just stay there?
And why did he leave behind a map if he didn't want to be found?
He went into the most unfindable place.
Yeah, why? Why did he leave a map then? That's like one of the biggest problems.
The whole film is centered on finding a map to find Luke Skywalker. It's the MacGuffin to drive action. Yet, we never really know why Luke left, what he's trying to accomplish, or what. It's more just trying to find him. And so Abrams left us off with a cliffhanger. Rey finding Luke, handing off the lightsaber. We're going to get our answers next film. These mysteries are to be solved. Now, Abrams, of course, is famous for the whole mystery box structure of storytelling. Where
the hack writing trope
drives suspense in the narrative, and it drives action to get to the answers. But it doesn't really matter what the answer is if you present another mystery at the end of that direction.
I find myself drawn to infinite possibility and that sense of potential, and I realize that mystery is the catalyst for imagination. Maybe there are times when mystery is more important than knowledge.
Another
no, JJ, that's stupid.
So, yeah, the problem with the mystery box in general that like everybody has critiqued time and time again is that eventually you have to answer the goddamn question, and if you don't have an answer, then what was the fucking point?
Like, the problem is that like you got to remember the fucking elephant in the room. He wasn't able to answer these questions because he was fucking ripped away from the fucking movie. The film.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, he wasn't ripped away. He stepped down. Like, he's like, I don't want to direct the next movie.
Then at least give the answers to the guys taking over, so there's got to be a framework for that, as opposed to just go in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Another question. Well, at a certain point, fans got to go, okay, we're going to get the answers to this, right? Right? So when you compare that with a director with a very different style of storytelling, like Rian Johnson, who does not follow the mystery box structure like Abrams does, you're going to get some issues. You're going to rub against each other in a way that's very complicated, because Rian Johnson's style is more deconstructive, self-reflective, metacognitive. For the sake of this video, I'm going to define deconstruction.
A philosophical or critical method which asserts the meanings of metaphysical constructs and hierarchical oppositions as between key terms in a philosophical or literary work are always rendered unstable by their dependence on ultimately arbitrary signifiers. Okay.
I got hung up more on that last point he said, where it's deconstructive and not metaphysical. What did he say?
Very complicated, because Rian Johnson's style is more deconstructive, self-reflective, metacognitive.
Metacognitive.
What?
All right, let's. You know what? Audience. You're gonna look it up with me. You're gonna look it up with me. Oops.
Okay,
it's one of the fucking things I hate about people who like make all these videos against people like Marvel. They're using such freaking like words that people never know the meaning of and need to look it up to even just watch the video.
Okay. Metacognition refers to the awareness and understanding of one's own thinking process, including how one learns, remembers, and solves problems. It involves planning, monitoring, and evaluating one's cognitive activities. Does that at all in any way match The Last Jedi? The answer is no. God.
For the sake of this video, I'm going to define deconstruction. A lot of people conflate deconstruction with demolition. That is to say, destroying a plot, showing how terrible it is, how foolish it is, etc. But rather, deconstruction is taking the components of narrative apart to see how they function in the greater whole. That is to say,
deconstruction doesn't mean demolition. It's a table of sound of music, cosmetics, subjects.
If you're gonna read it. Don't mumble under your breath.
Sorry. I'm used to doing that. Deconstruction doesn't actually mean demolition. Instead, it means breaking down or analyzing something, especially words in a work of fiction or non-fiction. What do you mean if deconstruction? If it's like non-fiction, isn't it just a series of events that actually happened, or?
That's just plain old analysis if it's nonfiction.
To discover its true significance, which is supposedly almost never exactly what the author intended. A feminist may deconstruct an old novel to show how even an innocent-seeming story somehow depends on the oppression of women, so a retard. A new Western may deconstruct the myths of Old West and show lawmen as vicious and criminals as flawed but decent. Oh, well, I mean, in the Old West, to be a lawman, you had to be vicious. You had to be cutthroat. I mean, like back then, it's like if you weren't, then you were dead. Table manners, The Sound of Music, and cosmetic ads have all been subjects of deconstructionist analysis. How is
The Sound of Music deconstruction? Is it deconstruction?
So subject of deconstructionist analysis. So someone deconstructed The Sound of Music and analyzed it, which I haven't seen The Sound of Music, so I can't comment. Table manners. I don't know why you would want to deconstruct table manners. Maybe like in their origins and where they came from, but that's less a deconstruction about what table manners are. That just means like, I don't know, don't snot rocket onto the table while people are eating. Of course, not everyone agrees with deconstructionist interpretations. Yeah, because a lot of times they're shit. And some people reject the whole idea of deconstruction. I can see why someone would reject that idea, because sometimes it genuinely is people deconstructing for the sake of deconstructing and have nothing to say.
Like the boys.
Yeah, like the boys, specifically the comic. The show in season 1 had something to say about like the hyper corporatization of superheroes and how they are a product to be sold and bought rather than like symbols to be inspired by. The comic is just Garth Ennis saying superhero sucks. So, but most of us have run into it by now, even if we didn't realize it. I mean, okay.
A trope can be taken apart from the rest, analyzed, and it's examined how this trope aids with the progress of a narrative. the way the writing process for these sequels were, it's very well known. It feels like every director was just given a film in a lineup and told, do your own thing. Respond to whatever the guide before you did. And as it turns out, Abrams would be brought back to quote-unquote fix what Rian Johnson did because Disney panicked when not everyone liked Rian Johnson's vision. But
his terrible, awful shit-tier vision, yeah.
The problem is, Rian...
Yeah, because Disney needs to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they are a business. That's why this is all still so confusing to us, why their narrative, especially with Star Wars, they just won't stop pushing it, even though they're just losing money.
Yeah.
You'd think somebody in the boardroom would go, guys, we just need to make a successful movie.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams initially were not communicating between what they wanted. So
well, I mean, didn't Daisy Ridley give Ryan like notes that JJ had of like certain things that needed to be answered? And
JJ himself handed him a guidebook, and Rian Johnson had admitted he threw that guidebook into the trash.
Yeah, see, that's why earlier I didn't say anything, but yeah, I was about to say Ryan did leave notes for the next guy for his mystery boxes, so he did do his job.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a dick move.
Yeah,
that's just a dick move.
Because Rian Johnson's a hack, and like if you were like people up in Disney, and you would
check
know
that.
If you were like somebody up in like at Disney, it's like, oh yeah, hey, JJ gave you the notes, Ryan. Are you following them? And he goes, no. I'm like, what the? Then ask it for it again. You have to follow those
then
notes.
right away, you should have been fired, and someone bought in that actually would, because that's
probably just like fire him. Yeah.
The only thing I've ever wondered was what actually was in that guidebook. Like, if they were proper, like, answers, or were they, like, vague? Like,
is a void in the Force? No,
probably maybe like...
At least turns out he just was verbatim, like, copying shit from KOTOR 2.
I would be fine with that. KOTOR 2 is the best Star Wars story. It's fine.
It wouldn't have mattered what those answers were, because at least it would have been consistent from the last story, not just whatever the fuck Rian Johnson wants to do.
Yeah, literally the whole thing of like, that's why everybody points to the fucking lightsaber toss, is because that is literally him spitting in the face of fucking I almost called him Zack Snyder? No, what the fuck's his name? J.J. Abrams. I don't know why I get them mixed up.
Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the lightsaber throw was literally just a shit on the little last movie.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people rubbed the wrong way, but oh well.
The entire trilogy is disjointed, and Abrams really had no interest in actually answering any of the questions he was setting up.
So that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Somebody please look that up just to make 100% sure that is a true fucking thing.
Yeah. What am I pulling up?
Did Ryan?
Did
J.J. Abrams give Ryan?
Did Zack Snyder give
Rian Johnson notes?
Notes.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's really important now for this thing, so I need to know that for a fact.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
I'll also look it up just for the audience.
Yes, J.J. Abrams left notes for Rian Johnson. The specifics were not publicly detailed. And he was aware of the narrative arc he was trying to go for, and they discussed it.
Okay, so
I gotta think.
They talked about it.
No, I pulled up a thing. It's like, no, J.J. Abrams did not leave extensive notes or a dedicated plan for Rian Johnson when Rian Johnson directed The Last Jedi, while Abrams had created a general outline for the sequel trilogy.
Okay, that's notes.
Okay.
So that article is bullshit. He left notes.
Okay.
So
it doesn't matter how detailed they were. He left.
So we can pretty much skip this next bit of the video because whatever he's about to say is cap, because J.J. Abrams did in fact set up the things for his mystery boxes.
Yes.
Whether or not they're like well detailed or well thought out or even good, they were there.
Yeah. Okay.
Outside the superficial level of it, Rian Johnson though did want to give answers. He just had answers that he knew would be devastating to the audience and chose them deliberately because it would cause the most frustration.
Which is stupid.
Why? That's not a good thing.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
What if the answer is fuck you?
Yeah.
But then fuck you too, man.
Caused the most pain. Sometimes questions don't have big answers. Sometimes they have sad, small answers that force you to reevaluate things. And through
like your fucking fandom of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Again,
Look,
why do they just want to do things that piss off the audience when that's the thing that's going to lose them money? I don't get it.
I feel like he's trying to go for that same thing of like, it's that scene from like Fault in Our Stars where they finally confront the author of the main character's favorite book. They're like trying to ask questions, and the author doesn't have the answers because it's a work of fiction. It's like, oh, the answer is disappointing. When it's like, no, like that's what they're talking about for that story, not what you would do for Star Wars when you have a direct fucking question.
Yeah. God damn it.
You find bigger, more meaningful ideas. However,
there's no meaningful ideas in The Last Jedi because it's all fucking hackney, pretentious bullshit.
What's the however, though?
The problem is he's working with Bob Iger. He's working with Disney. Disney requires that the audiences are always left happy, wanting more. Time to think, well, that means you might not buy figures or plushies or stuff like that.
So wait a minute. Does that mean Rian Johnson failed?
That's the exact opposite to what I just fucking said.
But Rian Johnson had creative freedom.
He's literally implying, not even literally implying, he's saying that it wasn't Ryan's fault, the story was shit. It was Disney's fault. And it's like, what?
But Ryan had
both?
No. He just said that the requirements were that Disney wanted the audience to be left happy. And answers and stuff, he literally just said that Rian Johnson specifically put stuff in to piss off the audience. Those two do not equate.
But more specifically, Rian Johnson had creative freedom and creative liberty over his project.
Kathleen Kennedy had seen multiple times being saying yes, Ryan, what you're doing is a good job. The Force is female.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm getting an actual director who makes films for adults to work on your Star Wars film. Because
fuck off.
Do not do the thing to say that it's all about a space wizard's intended for children. Don't fucking do that. It's
made for fucking adults. What do you mean? Star Wars was made for everyone, including adults. What the fuck are you talking about?
Looper was made for retards.
The Last Jedi was made for pretentious film students who never gave a shit about Star Wars to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? A New Hope. A New Hope alone does have a lot of graphic shit in it. Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen's burnt skeletons.
Over my burnt carcass.
A fucking dismemberment in the cantina.
Blood too.
Yeah, blood. Yeah.
Possibly a beheading, depending on where Vader was aiming with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but even then, if
clunky.
But even if you want to go with the ideas of Star Wars, they're simple, but they're valuable to everybody.
Because it's a classic story.
God, it's the fucking Zack Snyder. This comes across as the Zack Snyder mentality of I'm making Star Wars for adults, so I'm gonna add lots of sex and blood and gore, and I'm gonna add imagery, and I'm gonna add cursing, and it's you're making.
Go back to playing Shadow the Hedgehog, Zach.
Dude, no, fuck. Shadow the Hedgehog is more mature than Zack Snyder.
Johnson understood a key thing. In order to bring Star Wars to a new generation, you have to break.
That was already happened with The Force Awakens, you retard. What are you talking about? And Rogue One.
Yeah.
New ground. Do something different.
Do something. Okay, so yeah, he did something different. I mean, in this, so funneling bullet ants into my urethra is certainly a different feeling than what I normally want. But
you're not going to enjoy it, though.
I'm not going to enjoy it. Yeah, no.
Son, you wanted to do something different. Son, you might have single-handedly killed him.
Yeah. the Plinkett review for Last Jedi is very interesting because he brings up a lot of good points for that one, especially the final shot of the Falcon going through hyperspace. Compare that to the end of Empire, where the fleet is like basically slowly limping away. There's that vague sense of hope, but we definitely lost here.
Yeah.
Then the Last
Not
Jedi is
saying
just
not
like
to-
we all died. There's like 5 of us left. Da-da-da, da-da.
I'm not saying don't go see the next movie, but boy, do I sure love cots.
Disney doesn't want to break new ground. They want to return to things that are familiar and therefore marketable.
Because every time they tried to break new ground, it's turned out to be garbage.
They broke new ground.
Also, I'm saying it. They really are, like, he really is just saying that Disney held Ryan back.
But he didn't. They didn't though. Ryan, whatever limits Ryan had were clearly not enough.
It's all Disney's fault. They're jealous. They're holding me back.
From my point of view, Jar Jar was evil.
Well, then you are lost.
That would have been better.
Star Wars, we have the high ground.
You underestimate my
really-
shitty writing.
I really love the fact that Anakin and fucking Obi-Wan are actually battling at the end of Episode 3 because they're arguing about the movies. Ryan Johnson was given the full freedom. Only a critic does an absolute.
I will do what I must. You will try.
Must pulls out cell phone to tweet.
You will try. Pulls out like a Rotten Tomatoes.
Disney
Looks at Kathleen Kennedy. You turned her against me.
You have done that yourself.
You were my producer, Anakin.
I tolerated you.
Anakin, my loyalty is Disney. My loyalty is to Disney to profit. And you,
Don't make me review bomb you.
God.
Don't make me meme you.
Other Anakin. I have the Rotten Tomatoes.
It's over, Anakin.
I have the critic
audience score.
I have the audience score.
You underestimate the critic score. Don't
try it.
Let me take screenshot, post it on Twitter, gets immediately fucking ratioed.
Yeah, Anakin getting his arms cut off is fucking ratioed.
and what about the Last Jedi? It seems
Is it
in
safe?
your
He's right.
in
It's
your
a movie
ang-
that we can't afford to fail.
it seems in your anger you have caused the Metacritic score to go down.
I couldn't have. It was good. I felt it.
No.
Do not want.
He is in my behind.
You are at full cock now.
Game time started. Movie time started.
Want to break new ground.
Is you the
They want to
row?
return to things that are familiar and therefore marketable. So you get these opposing viewpoints.
Oh.
Familiar sells, different is needed. The fact this movie got made is a small miracle. Johnson.
I mean, like, do miracles have to be positive, or can miracles be negative?
I mean, that's no. I think the whole point behind that is why it's called a miracle.
Okay, so a curse then is the opposite.
Yes.
Okay, so we got a curse. Got it.
Harkened back to Kurosawa's films, the same director who inspired Lucas back when he made the original film, A New Hope.
Keep that guy's name out your fucking mouth.
But while Lucas was inspired by films like The Hidden Fortress or The Seven Samurai, Johnson seems to have lifted more from Kurosawa's more difficult films. When
Do you know this for a fact, or are you just assuming? Because it sounds like you're just assuming. Which unless it's something super fucking obvious, I don't think it's that safe of an assumption. It said Johnson seems to have, and it's like, oh, okay. Do you know that for a fact?
Let's see. Rashomon.
Rashoma.
Hiroshima.
No. I like how the citing for this is also other Kurosawa influences. It's like, oh, thanks. So, Hidden Fortress and Rashomon are the two main that I'm seeing right now. I unfortunately have not seen any Kurosawa films, so.
But like those are ones that have been confirmed. Rian Johnson has stated he was inspired by.
It appears so.
Okay.
Johnson in The Last
Fair
Jedi
enough.
presents the story of how Luke and Kylo Ren had their falling out. It's told with the same cinematic language as Rashomon.
But does it make sense? That's the main thing. It's like you can have inspiration. That's fine. It's clearly Zack Snyder was very inspired by 40K when he made Rebel Moon to a little bit too inspired.
It's adult Star Wars. What are you talking about?
But like inspiration is one thing, execution is another. Like there's no reason Luke would be contemplating.
Ideas are free.
Yeah, ideas are free. Execution is where the effort comes in. Like Luke contemplating killing his nephew because he's having bad dreams is stupid.
Meanwhile, that's not something Luke would fucking do.
Literally, like refused to kill his father who had committed multiple genocides, led them, and killed many people without killed
was
children.
Complicit in the destruction of a planet.
Like literally helped overthrow a democratic republic for an authoritarian empire.
Spread misery for almost 20 fucking years.
But his nephew who was having some dark and bad thoughts, Luke's just like, maybe I should kill him. Just like, God damn it.
A samurai film made by Kurosawa about different viewpoints of the same events. How everyone has a different viewpoint of what happened, and none might be true, but they're true to the person telling it.
You like Rashomon?
That's not how I remember it.
I also believe that Johnson drew heavily from Ran, which was one of the last great films that Kurosawa made. And Ran itself is based on another story. What was it? Why do I feel like this is leading to something? Hey, I'll come back to that. We'll come back to whatever Ron's based on. I'm sure it's something important. Johnson recognized that Star Wars...
Whatever.
Like, I don't know.
We'll find that out in the second half.
God, this like I'm not long man batting, but there's no reason this needs to be an hour and a half.
We're getting through it quite fast for what we've been doing.
Yeah,
How long have we been recording.
We've been recording for
2 hours.
Hour 52 minutes, and we're about 13 minutes in.
That's a great ratio, guys.
I mean, like for an hour 30-minute video is not awful, but yeah.
Become too anchored in nostalgia. The Force Awakens launched a culture of fan theories where everyone needed to figure out what they saw and how it fit into the past or some lost legends canon. Because a lot of people, again, who is Snoke? Was Snoke Darth Plagueis, the old master of Palpatine?
The tragedy of
Darth Plagueis.
Snoke.
Was that how this was some kind of big master plan spanning centuries? Though Plagueis had been killed off in the legend novel Darth Plagueis, we were in a new canon now. Anything could happen. And with Legends canon eliminated, this opened the door up to old characters from Legend making their way back.
Do not compare those two.
Was that Revan?
That was Jason goddamn Solo.
Yeah, don't. Jason Solo is just better. Also, look, it's retard Thrawn.
Hey, this boy,
just like my daddy could beat up your daddy. Fucking Jason could mop the floor with Kylo. No fucking problem. It is said that he was more powerful than even the Emperor at the peak of his power, and he still wasn't done learning. Like they're like it's just fucking stupid. Don't fucking put those people in the same goddamn image ever again.
Anything could happen. And with Legends canon eliminated, this opened the door up to old characters from Legend making.
Look at it, Wyatt. Look at it.
Yeah, they
look at it. Look
This
at
man
it,
went.
Wyatt.
The one on the left literally went toe to toe with Luke Skywalker and almost beat him.
Yeah,
like
so did the one on the right. Fucking son of a
no. Because he was having bad dreams and he dropped the ceiling on him.
their way back. We saw this with Thrawn, for example.
That's not Thrawn. Don't you fucking say that's Thrawn ever again.
This Thrawn loses shit and then says yes. It's all going to plan.
All according to plan. A necessary sacrifice. All these fucking men and soldiers that are like important resources that I need, that I apparently am limited on. A necessary sacrifice. You're not Thrawn. Go away.
So why not Plagueis? Abrams in his 2 films drew heavily from Legends, especially the Legacy of the Force series and the Dark Empire series.
Is that true, Wyatt?
No. Like, not at all. Like, as somebody who has read...
Feel your anger.
It gives you focus. So...
We will get through this video essay one step at a time, as master and student.
Never. I'll never finish this video essay. Throws away lightsaber. You failed, Max. I won't give an entire fucking storyline to it, but no, the key points of the Legacy of the Force series have almost no comparison to what we saw in the sequel trilogy, especially when it comes to the fall of the Solo son. His fall to the dark side is very much a sort of falling upon the sword for the protection of the galaxy.
For the good of the company.
The greater good.
Also, I just noticed something. If you look where all his figures are, they're on an unopened copy. It's still in the plastic of the Berserk Ultimate Edition manga.
Why do you have 2?
Because they're in different volumes. There's like multiple Ultimate Editions.
Or if you got multiple, have one that you can view and one to savor.
I guess.
What
are you saying, Wyatt? Sorry.
No, I've just been looking, like, while he's been talking, I've been looking at his background. I see that Venom statue on the
he's got
top shelf.
Pikachu figure.
Correct.
Yeah, the Pikachu.
Pikachu eating fucking rice, you asshole. Make sure you get it right.
No, don't you mean jelly donut?
Yeah, the donuts.
The donut.
He's got a Frankenstein's
see, of
monster.
Course, certain point of view, the Darth Plagueis and Heir to the Empire. Funny how Darth Plagueis is like one of the best books is covered by a Disney book.
Hell yeah.
The Pathfinder. I think that's like it's either
I think that's the Monster Manual.
Yeah.
See, look, he's a nerd.
He's a nerd.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
like I'm willing to believe he is a nerd. He's just the kind of nerd that we need to keep away from our hobbies.
I think Girl in the Eagle's Talon, I believe, is tied to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Mars trilogy.
The Outlander book.
Lord of the Rings.
Filthy Outlander next one.
I don't know what Gideon is or us.
Moth?
What about
Giancarlo Esposito is like, you summoned me?
No, Gideon from Gravity Falls.
He's got Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah.
This provided Abrams a set of ideas he could use for his films, which he used, but he ignored how these Legends works existed in a context of many other works. There was a whole history leading up to these works making more sense cohesively with the rest of the story. Abrams took plot points and shoved them in without the context or world building necessary to
No, he didn't.
incorporate them, and as a result, created something very sloppy. But don't worry, if you couldn't wait for Plagueis, he did show up eventually.
Nobody liked that though.
Everybody hated that. Not to mention, it makes no fucking sense.
I completely fucking forgot about that.
But
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
Plagueis just fucking, he's like, yes, do a thing. I'm gonna go get some milk now.
Yeah, like it's like the inspiration for Plagueis to start messing around with creating artificial Force life, which would then result in the Force creating Anakin, was because he saw someone was the product of lesbian space witch magic.
Yep. The true act of Star Wars.
I'm alright. I'm alright.
And I'm sure everyone loved it.
No.
Rian Johnson, by comparison,
they
did not do that.
And for example, don't you dare say The Acolyte was like trying to please audiences. The Acolyte was not, was very much in the same vein as The Last Jedi of trying to deconstruct and subvert everything, and did it arguably worse.
Also, Jake, I gotta correct you. It wasn't like Plagueis messing with life that created Anakin. It was the Shroud of the Dark Side, obscuring the Jedi's vision, is what caused the Force to create Anakin to balance itself out.
Oh, okay.
I'm a nerd. What of it? And I'm proud of it.
Okay.
I pay attention to things.
Damn right.
Okay, well, the show Masked Rider is canon with Power Rangers because the pilot for Masked Rider was technically
talking about Power Rangers.
Because I'm trying to flex my nerdness too.
Why are we even talking about this? Spider-Man's coming out.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Johnson, you may not realize this if you've only seen Star Wars, but he has a very large filmography of really good films.
Does he?
Are you sure?
Aside from TLJ, the only other one I've actually seen is Glass Onion, and that's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
I love that movie.
Knives Onion tricked me for like half the movie, and then I realized, oh my god, this is shit.
And I heard, and then from what I understand, Looper is bad.
It's my favorite.
I actually heard that Brick, or I think it's called Brick, is actually not that bad. But then again, I don't know if he wrote it or just directed it.
He threw it.
Brick.
But they all do something interesting. They play with the established tropes of established genre.
But do they do it in a good way? You're just saying, oh, it plays on the tropes.
Without just fucking with shit, because that's honestly another thing I will give compliments to for KOTOR 2. It's in the Old Republic. It's not connected to any of the shit that normal audiences are like, that they know are connected with.
Oh god, I forgot you'd done Knives Out and Glass Onion.
Yes.
Subvert expectations.
It's
in a way
just dumb.
To create tension and to create a new, unique vantage point through which to see the familiar. While Johnson does ultimately, regularly reconstruct the genre within his framework, he often deconstructs it first to show you how each of these pieces might look in a different perspective. Case in point, let's look at Looper. Looper is a time travel film told in the style of Terminator. Like in Terminator, the main character...
Yeah, I'm with Max. Are you sure?
So, like, is it okay for me to be offended for mentioning those two things in the same sentence?
Yes, because like that's right from Rian Johnson's mouth. He says the time travel stuff doesn't matter, and it's like it's literally the catalyst for the story. Like
what the story is about.
Yeah, it's about a time traveling robot.
It's also how the hero saved. Oh, I thought you were about the. Wait.
Terminator.
Rian Johnson.
No, Rian Johnson said the time travel doesn't matter in Terminator.
Oh, I thought you were talking about time travel didn't matter in Looper.
Well, that's what he like because he said it doesn't matter in Terminator. That's why he said it doesn't matter in Looper.
Oh,
like
well,
he was
that's
connecting
wrong,
to.
because
Yeah, he's wrong.
It's the whole point of the movie, and it's also how the hero saves the day.
Hence why there's that stupid scene where they're in the diner and Bruce Willis goes, "Just don't think about it. Don't fucking do that. Don't tell your audience to not think because that means you made a shitty movie."
Yeah.
You're admitting defeat, essentially.
This guy from the future is coming back from changing the past. In this case, however, he's fighting himself from the future.
Oh my god.
And what we end up getting is a neo-noir told through a sci-fi lens. It's a lot of these guys are criminals, it's all the mafia and all that. But what ends up happening is that rather than stop the future man, our past version of the main character realizes the entire fight itself is causing this loop to start. That by his past self coming back to the past, it traumatizes this young boy, and that young boy becomes a monster in the future, which drives the future self to go back in the time. You know, it's a whole loop. So in order to stop it from happening, main character decides to...
So, like, it's a paradox then. Is that that's what I'm getting from his poor description of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is a
time travel
paradox.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Close the loop before it could even begin. And in doing so, changes the future for the better, as he sees it, by destroying a cycle of violence before it can start. It follows the same ideas of the time travel story. However, it inverts it. Rather than the guy coming back to the past changing...
Who gives a shit if it inverts it? Is it good?
Also, like, you want to talk about the cause and effect of the killing oneself, because they showed that previously with that other looper guy, and how they tortured and removed parts just to, like, try to get the guy to come back so they could shoot him. When it's like, just shoot the guy.
I'm sick of these fucking pretentious, hack, talentless fucking essayists just giving merit to inverting a thing and not explaining why the thing is good. Just explaining that it's an inversion and then it's interesting and therefore good. Holy fucking piss! I thought we were fucking at least having. It's like we're in 2018 or 2019 again.
That's because Anthony Gramuglia is stuck at that point. Because remember, like, when he was talking about the film criticism, he was reaching all the way back to things like Patrick Willems, Anita Sarkeesian. He was just fucking... It's a fucking trip to the past with this guy, because he's only just now catching up.
God, imagine defending Anita Sarkeesian. Holy shit. God damn.
In the future, the guy from the past changes the future and stops the loop. It's an inversion of what you typically would expect of this kind of story, where someone would either stop the future man from changing the past, or the future man changes the past, which leads to a different future. It's a very interesting way of doing time travel. Inaction is what drives the action. On the other hand, not...
Oh,
boy.
Really? Alright, let's talk about Knives Out.
I do like that subtitle, though. That's kind of funny.
The Rian Johnson Whodunit.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, you guys are gonna be talking about Knives Out a bit more. You're gonna because like I haven't seen it, so
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I'm the only one who has seen
the
it.
First one, but I haven't seen the second one.
No, that is what the first one is called, Knives Out. The second one's called Glass Onion: A Knives Out Story.
I've also seen the EFAP review of it. I haven't seen an actual movie.
I wish you would talk about Glass Onion so I can literally just say Edward Norton's character being retarded doesn't make it good. I don't, because like Asa was like, hey, want to watch Glass, because they're like it's would you call it an anthology or would you just say episodic movie series?
Episodic.
Each
because
like
the only through line is Daniel Craig's character, the detective.
Yeah, and then it's like whatever. Like Glass Onion is immeasurably awful.
Because for it to be an anthology, you have to just completely use like different characters every time, correct?
Basically, it's a different universe.
Yeah.
Knives Out, a fantastic tribute to Agatha Christie cozy mysteries, except you think you're following the killer, who spends the whole movie thinking that she needs to protect herself from the eccentric detective. And we sympathize with her because the rest of the cast is absolutely heinous. Only we realize that she did nothing wrong. And the detective has never been fooled by her attempts to conceal herself from him.
And what you and Harlan did that fateful night seems at first glance to fill that whole purpose.
It's positive for copyright. But he's not explaining why it's good though.
Please mention the you're such a good nurse that you just felt the viscosity and the weight of the liquid and thus you knew which one was the right one. Please mention that. Please mention that retardation. I beg you.
It's so good. You're just being a bigot.
Perfectly. But we must look a little closer.
It's a bunch of subversions that play into the tropes of the Agatha Christie story.
Is it good though, you stupid far-eyed fuck? Like, stop wasting my fucking time. Get to why you're glad The Last Jedi ruined people's childhoods. You long-winded piece of fucking worthless anus discharge.
Story, just from a different vantage point. The Last Jedi, the deconstruction comes here.
The greatest teacher failure is.
Fuck off!
Why is that deconstruction?
That's not deconstructionist. That's one of the most simple. That's one of the simplest and oldest themes in any story that's ever been
It
told.
also doesn't work with the rest of the movie, though. Rey never fails.
Well, I was about to say, well, hang on a second. You got to remember, this is the guy who thinks Phantom Menace is too complicated to follow once you get off Naboo. Or sorry, when you get halfway through Naboo.
God,
so 15 minutes into the movie.
Pretty much. It's too hard.
Like, no, like, things are happening. How is this the subversion? The greatest teacher failure is, yeah, Luke, you failed the fucking, you failed your nephew, you failed your sister, you failed at Ultramar, you fail here. No, I won't. I got Dad's sword, Morty, you fucking stank-ass bitch.
I was actually quoting one of the Ultramarines, you fucking uncultured Philistine.
I was just going through Bobby's head when he was fighting Mortarion.
Yeah.
The heroes and authorities we trust don't always help us, but rather, through trying to help, they might create scenarios where greater...
Trying to help by killing his nephew! Like, even thinking about it, he pulled out the lightsaber and turned it on, and then was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. As fucking Ben is looking at him, just going, oh my god, my fucking uncle's gonna kill me!
Who's Ben?
Kylo. His name is Ben.
Oh, that guy.
Even though Luke is the one that named his son after Ben Kenobi in Legends, because Ben...
That made more sense.
Yeah. I am...
Man, that's just fan stuff, though.
Are we... We're really back in 2017, 2018, 2019, where it's like, this is the theme, this is the inversion, this is subversion, therefore fucking good. It's interesting, it's different. Suck my fat veiny cock.
No, how funny would it have been at the Starkiller base? It's the scene where Han's basically walking out to his death, and instead Han just goes, Han! And then it is revealed that Kylo's actual name is Han Solo Jr., which was the potential name for their third kid.
Oh, that's right, before Leia says, no, I'm going to name him Anakin because I forgive my dad.
Yeah, it's like Han Solo Jr. That would have been funny. Just, Han Solo.
Evils rise up.
The Jedi are romanticized, deified. But if you strip away the myth and look at their deeds... The legacy of the Jedi is failure.
Fuck off! What do you mean failure? They failed massively, like in the prequels, because they dark side tisms, they like ostracized Anakin and whatnot. But like, what was it? Over
and also
100
were too heavily involved in the politics of the Republic.
But like for over 1,000 generations, the Jedi have been the keepers of peace. It's like 1,000 generations. It's like what, 30,000 years? For 30,000 years, the Jedi have been like a net positive, aside from like instances in here and there in that 30,000 years.
If it weren't for the Jedi, like in things like the old EU, they'd all be speaking Mandalorian because they were planning on just annihilating everyone they came across.
It's the goddamn, like the fucking a Jedi saved the galaxy from the Empire. Just saying.
A Jedi is what convinced one of the most evil people on the planet to turn back to the light because the man that had corrupted him was killing his son.
God, the Jedi are like romanticized and deified because Ryan Johnson says that because he's maybe vaguely aware of the original trilogy. Go fuck yourself. God damn.
And believing that you're always right without questioning yourself can be bad.
But that was never a thing.
Luke's story is constantly filled with self-doubt. Like, there's a reason why it took the Yuuzhan Vong War for him to even think about reinstituting the Jedi Council. Like, Luke is not just somebody that just goes down the straight line and is always right. He's been wrong plenty of times. People have died because of his failures, but he gets back up.
He lost his hand because of his failure. He went to go face Vader when he clearly wasn't ready because he wanted to save his friends.
Kip Duron blew up a sun because of Luke. Because he was fucking possessed by the spirit of Exar Kun, and Luke was paralyzed during the entire event. He couldn't stop him.
God damn these people.
Sometimes failure is necessary for us to learn how to be better, and those who refuse to learn from failure are doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Thank you for telling us the fucking theme. Now explain why it's fucking good.
A singular strong hero is not enough. A singular strong hero, though, can inspire others to do better.
Don't you fucking show that
somebody who
vapid
never
bimbo.
fails.
Yeah, somebody who never fails.
And like, here's the thing: we want to go on even broader points because this is apparently a theme that expands to all the characters. Poe didn't fail when he blew up the dreadnought. That was a very key decision that needed to happen, because if the dreadnought was there when they started the space chase, they would have gotten annihilated.
Yeah. Like, God.
We are what they grow beyond.
Now, on paper, that's pretty compelling. It's also compelling in the film, but done in a way where it might be a problem for some people who have built Star Wars up to be this grand mythology. It can hurt someone.
It's called being consistent with what came before, you stupid tard. TLJ isn't that. It's not consistent with what came before. That's the issue.
It's not consistent with characters. It's not consistent with the overall timeline. It's just a mess. That's
not
why
consistent
the
with the last
trilogy
movie.
is considered fan fiction.
No, it's not. No, Secret Trilogy isn't fan fiction because no fan would write that. No fan would write it. Okay, maybe TFA, but not TLJ and not Tross. Certainly not TLJ.
They are not expecting it to be what it is. The prop
Bad? We were expecting it to be good? Oh man, I'm sorry that we were expecting it to be good. That's our fault.
Is The Last Jedi takes the established story of Star Wars and questions its...
What is with this ass?
He's probably
like, VHS
he's probably
footage?
using the original footage, probably to avoid copyright because it's all blurry. Now, what did he say?
Hurt someone if they are not expecting it to be what it is. The problem is The Last Jedi takes the established story of Star Wars and questions its conventions on a foundational level. Luke is much like Obi-Wan and Yoda before him. He is in exile. They went into exile after a great failure. And
also, they wouldn't have been killed, and they clearly had a plan to train Luke to beat Vader, to overthrow the Empire. It wasn't... Oh my god.
Also, Luke wouldn't do that. Luke wouldn't go into exile.
Why would Luke go... Yeah, why would he... Like, he would try and make things right. Because that's his well, he wouldn't contemplate killing his fucking nephew in the first fucking place. So, the entire premise is fucked.
I see Max trying to distract us with memes over my second monitor.
Can't help it, man. This guy's giving me a brain aneurysm.
You can tap out if you want, man. I don't blame you.
And I want to hang out. How long is this fucking recording?
So far we're at 2 hours 17 minutes, so we can go another hour if you want.
Another hour? How long are your Dragon's Dens?
Usually about 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes up to 9. Like, the longest one we've ever done is 9.
Jesus Christ.
I remember I tried to pull Slur out so we could do recording tisms, and I ended up getting dragged in.
Yeah, you did. Jules Chan, which... I think the last one we did was the Superman vs. the Elite, which was about 3 hours, and the one before that was a 2-parter of the Goblin Slayer video. Part 1 was 3 hours, and I believe Part 2 was 6 hours. So
9 hours in total.
Yeah, 10 probably. If you add up like all the minutes and whatnot and seconds.
Mm-hmm. Audiences expect, like Obi-Wan and Yoda, for Luke to either be on some mission or waiting for a new student to train in order to undermine the rising evil of the dark side. Instead,
that's his father's lightsaber. Sorry, I know I keep pausing before I know I keep pausing before he makes his points, but all his points are ass.
Yep.
He is there to end everything. He is there in exile because he feels he deserves to be exiled. He is there to die. See, as much as people like...
Way to do that to the most hopeful person in the galaxy, by the way.
Everything. He is there in exile because he feels he deserves to be exiled. He is there to die. See, as much as people like to make fun of George Lucas for structuring Star Wars like poetry where it rhymes...
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Audiences like pattern recognition. Familiar structures and formulas are comforting and engaging to us. It's one reason why...
Oh my god, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing the thing of... people like the same, and TLJ is different, and they didn't like different. Why are you in 2017? Adapt, evolve, change.
Bear Grylls.
Joseph Campbell's hero's journey is so revolutionary. It allowed a ton of writers to align their stories more effectively with the structured elements of the monomyth. Rian Johnson is aware of this and deliberately deconstructs the hero journeys with its core characters.
It's hero's journey, not hero journeys.
Now, Poe wants to rise to action, but rather than have him refuse the call, he is denied the call by both Holdo and Leia.
Because they're stupid. Because Poe literally saved the fucking fleet from the Dreadnought. Oh,
No, you're a flyboy and impulsive, and the last thing that this resistance needs.
But like, he saved them from the Dreadnought. He made a choice and decision that if the Dreadnought was around, they'd be destroyed. What the fuck? Stop.
Oh, but lives were lost, so therefore it's a failure. Well. Blame that on your equipment, man, because you could have just used Y-Wings.
This bundle of sticks does know that, like, a film, like, what a film intends and what a film means is ultimately and utterly irrelevant if how we get to there is fucking nonsensical gibberish.
Well, that's why we really don't like when it comes to that trope with modern storytelling. The power was just you all along, so you just need to be a badass and step up.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, America Chavez. Those are the key. God damn it! I'm just seeing all these memes in the other monitor. That's just what they keep doing. It's like you were always amazing, so be amazing more.
Finn's entire arc is about denying the call of action until the final half of the film. He does not want to be drawn to fight.
He wants to find Rey. He wants to find Rey because he cares about Rey, because Rey is his friend. He's not part of the Resistance, so like that makes sense for his character. He wants to find his friend. So like, and then when Shrek comes in and tases him for desertion when he was never part of the Resistance to begin with.
No, die with the rest of us.
No.
But he's forced to, and has to learn why he wants to accept the call at all.
Why he wants to, but he didn't want to. Thing is, it's not even necessarily like he wouldn't have fought with the Resistance. He just wanted to find his friend first.
Yeah, because he was very much dragged into this fight.
Yeah.
He on both sides, he did not consent to fight for them.
Yeah.
In Luke's whole arc, for all the good that Luke's journey did, it didn't stop evil forever. And
which in and of itself is fine. Did we have to make him a sad, depressed, milk drinking hobo?
When the Empire was defeated, the Emperor and Vader were gone. Yes, new evil stepped up, but you know who met them? An even more powerful Luke Skywalker. And one of those stories is that he won't always be around, and he can't be everywhere. That's what true, because there's a good while in his journey before he really starts teaching other people.
God, make it.
That's disenchanting.
That force does not belong to the Jedi.
No shit. The Sith also used the Force. What do you mean?
Get the fuck out of here, Jake Skywalker. Get the fuck out of here.
David's pretty.
To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. Can you feel that?
But is it though?
It's not vanity. They're the main force of the light.
Light can't
just
exist
like how
without, the dark can't exist without light, though, or whatever.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, just like how the Sith are the warriors of the dark, the Jedi are the warriors of the light. You need, you technically don't need both, but like as far as that balance thing is concerned, for some reason, yes.
Disney's version of balance. I don't know. I very much always preferred that the dark side was the tumor on the Force being the proverbial body, and the only way to restore homeostasis or balance to the body, you need to cut out the disease. I've always preferred that.
See, at the same time though, I will side with Max on this because this is why you need to play KOTOR too.
That's probably not going to happen.
You should. We might do something with it in the future because of how fast me and Wyatt could probably get through both games. But the idea is that it's almost like the same fucking philosophy as the warp. You can't not have these things. Like a Jedi will feel rage. A Jedi will feel love and compassion. A Jedi will feel these things. The Jedi are taught to basically avoid these and like shun them, whereas the dark side is told to embrace them, to use them. The negative emotions will always be there, so therefore the dark side will always be there. It's not a tumor that you can just cut out. It is a thing that is always there. That's why the Great Jedi are so based, because they understand this philosophy and they balance it. Like I said, you can't have one without. You can't just make everybody monotonous fucking like androids. You're gonna have these things.
And
that is actually the true failure of the Jedi, though, is because you should teach these people not to. They should embrace these things.
But you could still be a Jedi and representative of the light while also embracing your emotions to at least a reasonable degree. Not letting them rule you like with Anakin.
Not in the prequel sense, like with
not even following the Jedi code though, because there's no emotion, there's peace. You are taught to basically not go into any of these emotions.
Then you could just redefine what a Jedi means. Then is what Luke.
That's what Luke did.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what Luke did with Great Jedi. That's why the Great Jedi are based.
That's why like one of the downsides of the fact that prequels are coming out was the fact that the prequels were influencing the EU, and how like by the time of Legacy of the Force we were starting to get a lot of those prequel Jedi isms. It's like, please don't, Luke, your order is completely separate from that. Knock it off.
Itchy.
Luke only temporarily stopped evil in the moment. He did not have permanent impact on the flow of history.
Maybe not, but like it was still a pretty big fucking impact. Like it was huge.
He stopped what was considered the most evil regime in the galaxy.
Yeah. Like and the thing is, no one would have ever thought, even people who only watched the movies, like obviously no one would ever think like, oh, now all evil is now gone and therefore there can be no more. No one ever thought that.
Because no single great victory can ever stop evil forever. It just
no one
stops
thought
the
that it would have.
Now, but without constant care, evil can reemerge under your nose, and you can even set up the elements through which new evil can be born.
Why are you talking about this like some great concept? So many fucking stories have done this before Bryan Johnson was even a fucking like fetus.
There will always be
womb.
Another dragon in the cave.
Yeah.
There's always a bigger fish.
Exactly.
But Johnson does not totally toss out the Rose myth. There is one character who follows it, and
She's gonna say Rey.
Is Rey. She adheres.
Fuck off.
She goes off on adventure, changes, is reunited with her father figure. In this case, the disappointing absence of one.
They were nobody.
But you're not nobody. You're the granddaughter of fucking Palpatine. That's why this doesn't fucking work.
Well, that's Tross's fault, not TLJ's fault. But you also remember in TFA, she kind of learned to push her parentage aside
Yeah,
due to
she
Maz Kanata.
already learned this lesson.
Yeah, she already learned this lesson, so Ryan's just retreading ground.
They're filthy junk traders who sold you off for drinking money.
Yeah.
Is this theater footage? Because like the echo on like the.
It might be.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably a cam or
cam for the audio to try to avoid copyright, and then regular footage for the visuals.
Oh fucking hell! Just if you get copyright struck, just fight it.
I mean, to be fair, on this end, it'd be better than to have clear volume and then just show a cam copy. That'd be
weird, but just like take a clip from the movie with audio and whatever.
You have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
She confronts her adversaries and returns home with the amulet, skills, understanding, and the Jedi.
What do you mean? Skills that she already fucking knew just by believing she did. Literally does Force mind trick. Just when she discovered the Force was a thing like a couple hours prior.
She used a blaster damn near perfectly on her second shot.
She believed in
Flew
herself.
The Falcon after never flying a spaceship ever, and says the Falcon hasn't flown in years.
Yeah.
Well, she's the best.
God damn,
Texts necessary to restart the Order anew after Luke's passing.
Yes. Wisdom they held, but that library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess.
You mean knowledge of Jedi's like, for hundreds of thousands of years? Shit that she
doesn't even
wouldn't
work
actually
because she
know?
stole the books.
Yeah.
Jedi.
The sacred texts.
Yeah, and the fact that Yoda would like potentially destroy the sacred Jedi text is also a fucking annihilation of his character because he would never do that.
Also, apparently, in that same scene, proves that Luke didn't even read them.
Yeah, which he would read them.
Luke would read the absolute shit out of them.
He doesn't know how to read.
He grew up on Tatooine. He doesn't know how to read.
I was about to say he's a slave boy on Tatooine, but that was his father. He was a farm boy on Tatooine.
We don't do reading on the moisture farm.
Just Luke's been like for the first movie is basically a space redneck. What do these words mean? What is a lightsaber?
Lessons while also going
That's why he
back to
looks
some
down
more
the hill
traditional
before he turns it
elements. Rey's arc is the monomyth, but she is surrounded by people who subvert that arc. Yet in the end, if you look at what Rey does in the film, she still completes that journey.
So Rey gets to complete the hero's. I mean, think about it like this. He's like, wow, Rey completed the hero's journey while everyone around her, including past characters from the previous movies, were like fucking depressed, saddened pieces of shit. Go fuck yourself for championing that. Championing. Don't want to be like this guy. Every time he pronounces criticism, he says it as criticism.
Yeah, just one syllable.
Mm-hmm.
For as much as that structure is criticized, it does not collapse. Even though there are ways to criticize the structure and subvert it, the core still stands.
It's time to let old things die. The Sith, the Jedi, the Rebels. Let it all die.
Now,
maybe not let the ones that have whatever.
People hear
he's the villain. He's the
let
villain.
the past die and all that, but that's not the message of the film.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly comes across that way. Destroy the past
More so
characters.
than the failure thing.
Destroy the history. Like destroy everything, and like let the lamer, shitter new things lead the way. Certainly gives that impression.
Luke sees the past as a structure that continues to lead to failure.
At the height of their powers, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise, create the Empire, and wipe them out.
I wouldn't say allowed, more like that was Jar Jar.
The Revenge of the Sith novelization, to just kind of briefly touch on it. It talks about while Yoda is fighting Palpatine, the reason why they had lost was because they dealt with an enemy that they had not foreseen, because the way they were so used to fighting the Sith was just an all-out battle. The Sith had patiently waited and used the very system that they swore to protect against them.
Yeah, And plus, Jar Jar.
It wasn't, and it wasn't like because of a big sword fight. It was because they manipulated the government.
Yeah. It should have been Darth Jar Jar. Jar Jar was Plagueis the entire. Jar Jar was Plagueis the entire time.
It was a Jedi It was a Jedi Master who was responsible for the training and creation of Darth Vader.
No,
who you brought back.
It wasn't. No, like the training of Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, your mentor, someone that you cared about, trained Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, and it wasn't their. It wasn't. So it was partly the Jedi for like trying to for making Anakin feel like an outsider. There's also Palpatine's manipulation. So they were kind of sort of responsible in a way. But like the way Luke makes it sound is like, no, it's all the Jedi's fault. And maybe put some blame on the fucking Sith Lord. You know, maybe that might be a good idea.
The mythology established, the Jedi did allow Palpatine to rise to power. They did ignore the Sith rising.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
So there is failure.
I mean, did they? Because all they really had was.
So they ignored Qui-Gon. Yeah, all they have is Qui-Gon's word from the attack on Tatooine, and also they know just regular dark Force users exist. There's no indication that it was Sith. But the at the same time, their unwillingness to believe Qui-Gon is what leads to Qui-Gon's death. But the moment they're like that, yes, he was a Sith, but always too there are a master and an apprentice, but which was destroyed, the master or the apprentice.
Yeah.
So they know there's someone out there now.
Yeah, they just don't know who.
In the past that Luke recognizes we need to learn from. On the other hand, Kylo.
And they assume that whoever this is behind all of the separatist bullshit. So
yeah,
exactly.
Which is what leads them to cause action on Genosha.
Mm-hmm.
Ren feels shackled to his past, either by the legacy of his parents or the legacy of his grandfather, Darth Vader. And so he feels shackled to it and decides to burn everything that reminds him to that down. He decides to destroy the patterns and hierarchies of old to rise beyond them. Further, he also rejects the expectations we have for Kylo Ren. We expect him to be redeemed. Instead, he rejects redemption and becomes worse.
Did we expect him to be redeemed?
No, and also, like, he flip-flopped throughout that entire movie.
Yeah. But, like, I don't think...
Why else would he have saved Rey if not for, like, some vague hint that, like, at the very least they could work together?
Over the First Order and makes decisions that would, had he not been caught up in the past, led to the end of the Resistance. Come the end of the film, Luke realizes that he was wrong, and that the failures of his past are not a reason to destroy a structure, but rather to build something better.
But why did he need to learn this lesson? Wouldn't he have already learned this lesson from his knowledge of the Jedi in the past and what happened with them?
He would have learned from his own journey, not even going that far.
Yeah.
Failure, also the fact that, like, yeah, his failure is what cost Han being taken away by Boba Fett and losing his hand to Vader.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. It just seems like we're having Luke needs to learn a lesson that he should already have learned.
Mm-hmm.
Forward.
I will have killed the last Jedi.
So the thing.
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
He's saying that to...
Yes, Last Jedi was wrong.
No, Luke is saying that to Giggly Tits over here.
Every single master learns that their students are what grows beyond them. Luke Skywalker ultimately sees himself as a remnant of the past, something to inspire change moving forward through sacrifice. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren is so caught up with the past that in order to fight shadows, essentially, he lets his present slip away from him. He's so caught up trying to stop Luke Skywalker, he ends up shadow boxing an illusion Luke creates for him.
And how we got to that point was nonsensical and stupid. Are we just going to ignore that? Why not try and debunk all of the actual criticisms? I know the video's not even half done, but like, holy piss.
All the heroes escape, an apt metaphor for his arc. So caught up with his anger over the past, he refuses to make good change in the future, and he lets opportunity slip him by. But, audiences are just upset that Luke's a sad old man and not a hero, so arc bad.
The arc...
That's nice. That's a nice way to go past.
That's a nice straw man there. Amazing straw man. The argument is people were upset that Luke's the reason for Luke being a depressed milk drinking hobo is that he feels bad for almost killing his nephew, something that he would never do. So, while he slept. So yeah, nice straw man. You also didn't explain why that arc was good. You just explained what it is, and what the subversion is, and not how it all was executed well.
That's what they do.
No, of course. Like, well, the thing is, this is the problem with the idea of artistic whatever the fuck is subjective, because like when they say that, they can get away with just not explaining why it works. They can just explain what it is.
Forget all the good it does.
This film basically destroys everything that
makes
Luke the iconic hero we all knew and loved. His very essence has been wiped away, the core of his being crushed and demolished, the fire of his accomplishments and struggles and triumphs brutally extinguished. The Last Jedi assassinates Luke Skywalker, both literally and metaphorically. It doesn't just kill him, it destroys the very essence of who he is.
Not every
That doesn't sound like Drinker.
That's a very old video.
Yeah, Drinker had a very old, shitty headset mic for his early videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Drinker was right though. Like everything he just said was correct.
Film works.
Amazing.
Finn and Rose feel very superfluous to the plot, and
because they are. Everything involving them is like, maybe not everything. There might be a couple things that are important, but for the most part, especially all the stuff on Canto Bight is fucking worthless.
Yeah, Rose Tico is essentially the mouthpiece for Rian Johnson.
No, her name is Shrek.
with their failures and DJ's betrayal.
Yeah, DJ, who was very conveniently in a prison cell, fucking codebreaker that they needed, and they went to prison in the fucking jail cell, and he was there and he helped them.
In prison, in the jail cell.
Yeah, like fucking convenient bullshit. To get to this fucking point, we had to contrive shit.
Well, not only that, they just happened to stumble upon him after, because remember, he wasn't the code breaker that they.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
The one that was gambling in the casino. Which, by the way, he was told to look out for them, and he just like, nope, I'm gambling.
Yeah, he gambled, and they found.
Told to look out for him by his ex. So I mean, come on.
but it's like, here's this code breaker. Oh no, the one that we want is gone, where we're put in a jail cell. But here's just so happens to be another one.
It makes the Resistance feel more vulnerable during their strategic retreat. It feels
because Holdo's whole idea was to just go in a straight line, run to some ships, and then hunker down. When apparently a decloaking scan immediately gives them away. What does that even mean, a decloaking scan? What is, like, how does that just, they just have they're cloaking people? They're like, yep.
Cast detect magic, same thing.
Oh, God.
But if it's adequate stealth technology, that shouldn't work.
Overall, especially when Holdo resolves the conflict of the First Order pursuing them very effectively by just crashing a ship into the other ship at hyperdrive.
Okay, so
one in a million.
So we're gonna talk about how this is cool. We're not gonna talk about how this ruins space battles permanently, right?
Why didn't they just send a droid at the Death Star, like a vulture droid with a hyperdrive, and then just ram it into the Death Star at light speed?
Why aren't
Yeah, give the bad guys a chance. I mean, come on.
Why aren't we doing like hyperspace missiles?
I'm gonna say, you know who would really benefit from that shit? The bad guys.
Yeah.
They're gonna sacrifice a bunch of stormtroopers just in TIE fighters to go blast through planets with hyperdrive.
Why not? Why not just go and like wrangle meteors and shit and strap hyperdrives to them and just like aim them and launch them?
Well, it has to be
thing. Come on.
It has to be a capital ship. Nothing that small could do like simple physics.
You can find a meteor like the size of a continent. You're in space. There's
Also,
like plenty of them.
Has to be capital ships. Okay, yeah. The bad guys with literally infinite resources. Yeah, they'll be
Star Destroyer, like Star Destroyers, while aren't cheap, like could easily mass produce
Yeah,
them.
but it's like, okay, you have to pay like fucking 1 billion credits, but you can like stop your entire resistance. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll take the 1 billion credits.
Yeah, you didn't even need to build the Death Star in that case. If this was always a thing, like you'd save so much money and resources.
That's why it was built in the first place, because he wanted control.
Resulting in one of the coolest visuals in the whole series. I don't care how this works with the lore. It's just cool.
Then
Fuck off.
Okay, so then you're not engaging.
Cool.
There's a problem.
Yeah, so that's
You've invalidated your entire fucking video. Good job, dude.
Look cool, but no substance.
Yeah, I don't care how this works mechanically and how it breaks everything. It just looks cool.
I'm glad this breaks the lore.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Because you weren't a fan, giggly tits. You weren't a fan.
There is the fact that Finn, who is set up as the co-lead in the film prior, is reduced to a tertiary character who feels pulled along by the actions of other characters. Despite his arc being about him taking the initiative to join the Resistance in the first film, he makes very few choices that further the plot in the second film.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
It's almost as if we wasted.
So we have a character who in TFA it was very clear that he was going to have a like major importance, to like, and then we reduce his. Yeah,
I really wanted that idea to happen where Rey was going to fall and it was going to be Finn that was going to be the actual Jedi character of the story.
Yeah, that could have been a neat subversion that Rian Johnson did, but he decided to do the worst thing. Well, he probably would have made it shit in that regardless. So.
Is railroaded. He is told, go to the casino, find the guy. They get sent to jail by someone else. Then they find another guy, and then they leave. And they're put in jail. They're following missions and objectives, but Finn...
No, I'm going to fucking say that. So, you know how he earlier stated but and thens and the ands of a story? He literally just went, and then they do this, and then they do that. He literally just did... He contradicted his own fucking point earlier.
No. I'm pretty sure he's gonna say, but it's okay because of the themes.
I don't understand. That was 20 minutes ago.
Rarely chooses when they go in. It's usually another character who acts, and the choice is taken away from Finn. He is not an active character. He is a reactive character.
That's
which,
so
considering
cool.
how, again, he helped drive the plot in the first film, this contrast of more passivity versus active control of the narrative is more apparent. But
just why is it a good thing?
That's not good though.
Why is it a good thing?
You literally took. All right, so let me explain this because this asshole doesn't understand how fucking the Phantom Menace works because he's a fucking mouth-breathing retard. So you've removed all agencies from potentially the main character.
Yes.
The character is no longer a character. He is just being dragged along. Who was driving the movie in the last movie is now literally nothing. Good job. That's great. It's good. I'm glad we did that. I'm so glad it's destroyed your fucking fandom. And this isn't even like the Phantom. This is just Finn.
Yeah.
Like, so you're praising fucking Rian Johnson for literally breaking Finn. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
What a lot of people consider to be one of their favorite characters of the sequel trilogy.
Because relatively speaking, he wasn't really damaged at least that much comparatively. So, yeah.
Not everything with Finn is bad.
I don't even know if that's true though.
Oh no,
I don't think that's true at all. I think
he got fucking ruined.
The least damaged character is probably Poe.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. Poe is probably
Wait, hold up. Sorry. I need to hear him say this again.
First film, this contrast of more passivity versus active control of the narrative is more apparent. But not everything with Finn is bad necessarily.
Okay.
Okay.
His relationship with DJ is very interesting because DJ
What
is a
relationship?
mirror to what political indifference during a war looks like.
Good guys, bad guys, made up words. It's all a machine, partner.
He doesn't have a political indifference necessarily. It's just like, I make money from both sides.
He wants to live. Remember, his whole thing was just getting the fuck away from the First Order.
Yeah.
And then he actually started developing feelings for Rey. Like, that's the whole thing, is that, like, he went to do this shit for Rey. He went to go save... He went to the most dangerous fucking planetoid in the galaxy to save Rey.
Yeah, and then with
you watch the first movie,
and then with DJ, it's like not political indifference. It's just I sell weapons I sell to both. I make money.
Hell, like the whole reason they got to Starkiller Base, they didn't even have a fucking plan. He was just like, yeah, I can get you in there, and then they got there. It's like, what's the plan? I'm just gonna give it Rey.
Yeah,
I want to save Rey. I don't care.
People are counting on us. The galaxy is counting on us.
We'll just use the Force.
That's not how the Force works.
Fucking dude, I love the Force Awakens, man. I really like that.
It is fun to make fun of, especially a lot of those bits, because Harrison's just like, I just want a paycheck.
But that's what I'm trying to say, is that like it had a lot of character. The story was kind of dog shit, but like it was trying. You could feel the love and the passion in the fucking movie. Like, whether or not it was good or bad, you can feel it. Whereas Last Jedi, not only is it shit, but it's also just like aggressive shit.
It's hateful.
Exactly. J.J. Abrams actually gave a shit about his fucking movie. So.
Yeah, he cared about it in this weird autistic thing of like treating it like chess pieces on a board, because remember, he just genuinely thought Han Solo was just the guy with the gun in the ship. It's like, oh, way to completely forget about his entire character growth throughout the trilogy.
Live free, don't join.
DJ is an opportunist. He's a gambler. He helps Finn and Rose out for a bit, but then when a better offer comes, he turns him in and joins the First Order. For a little.
He doesn't join the First Order necessarily. He just goes, I'm selling this to you.
He sells them out.
He sells them out. I'm going to take my money. I'm going to fuck off away from here and just enjoy life.
If he sounds like a snack, that's a mistake.
His ethos is perfectly summed up in a scene where he talks about weapons dealers selling to both the First Order and the Resistance. It doesn't matter who they sell to, the dealer still makes money at the end of the day. War is a business. In a business, you make the best deal for yourself and don't care about anything else.
I'm going to end war as a business by using war as a business.
I'm using war as a business to get elected so I can end war as a business. You're gonna fucking talk about my culture, you fucking faggot. Make sure you say it right.
No. I will misquote it as many times as I want.
My president like that. You better fucking chill out.
Where's your source, Senator?
The source is I made it the fuck up. You know, used to play college ball. Could have gone pro if I hadn't joined the
University
Navy.
of Texas.
Some cushy Ivy League.
I could break the president too with my bare
hands.
Don't fuck with this, Senator.
Fuck American pride. Fuck the media.
Fuck the media.
Fuck
all of it.
The celebrity trivia bullshit.
This 24 spewing of celebrity bullshit.
It's not personal. It's strictly business. Except
the land of the truly free. Damn it! Sorry, now you got me started.
DJ treats lies like profit, and indeed, when push comes to shove, he sells out the entire Resistance for a little bit of cash. And
no, not a lot of cash. He sells them out for a lot of cash.
A lot of cash. I was gonna say it's a lot of cash.
And also, these people exist in both fiction and in real life.
That's
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Lord of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord of War. The ending is based.
You're supposed to say Warlord.
I've heard my way.
I've heard my way.
But yeah, it was like actually bringing up that ending scene where they're in the interrogation room. It's like, because you guys make more than fuck. You would remember the quote more. It's like you guys make more money off this than I do in an entire year.
That's not exactly the quote, but
yeah, I was going to say I was hoping you would step in for a moment.
I'm too tired, and honestly, this guy's giving me brain rot.
That's fair.
We'll go for another 6 minutes, and then we'll call it for this part.
Fair enough.
It doesn't even hesitate to walk away with it. He is never held accountable in the films for his actions. He walks out of the film, and it's fine. And Finn is left feeling the sense of betrayal. He has felt knowing what it feels like when someone runs out on a cause that you're beginning to care about. He knows now how
he didn't care about the cause.
Had he abandoned the resistance?
What are you talking about?
And that
DJ specifically. DJ didn't care. Like that. Like he's feeling the sense of betrayal. DJ never cared, and he made it specifically clear that.
He made it very clear that it's like,
yeah,
fuck you guys.
This is about money to me.
Yeah, Finn cares because that has anything to do with
Ray.
That's important. That's an element of narrative that's really interesting. And then there's Rose, who I think deserves so much more as a character. Rose Tico's sister dies in the opening fight, which illustrates the human cost of war. We then see her throughout the film observing the way fascism impacts the average person and how greed and all of that motivates people to
it's
do.
Not fascism. It's capitalism.
Capitalism is
right. Nobody knows what the fuck fascism actually means.
That's why when somebody
the thing they're viewing in fucking Canto Bight is capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism is MR bad.
DJ is a capitalist.
Yeah,
and how like certain people do benefit from the rise of fascism through the First Order, but like that's again more of a critique on.
They're literally capitalizing on the fucking war.
Yeah,
like
war.
The fucking name.
Yes, and like it's like. And by the way, capitalism is MR bad. Like, fine, that can be a theme and message in your movie, but like
you say in a movie that's being sold for and like makes millions or possibly billions.
Or you could be like the Fallout show where you try to get away with it, calling it a satire, when you have all the capitalists in a very serious, unsatirical scene say, "We're going to destroy the world to try and make money." What?
You can have a lot of money to be made at the end of the world. Mr. House wouldn't say that.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
Based. Wait, hang on. Looks at hand. No, retarded.
Looks at base. Wait, looks at other hand. Retarded.
terrible.
Looks at fucking Mass Effect scroll wheel appears.
And she presents the idea that fighting is about protecting those that we care about above all else. Again, on paper, a very interesting idea, but the problem is the execution. Rose's dialogue consists almost entirely of speeches, of lectures, and these themes are not organically woven into the narrative through action and visuals, but rather the story stops to present the idea to us. This is made
That's all the more not a good thing.
No, he's saying it's not a good thing. He's saying that's not a good thing. He is criticizing the movie here.
Yeah, he's criticizing. What's the point of this fucking video?
He's glad that The Last Jedi ruined our childhood, but we haven't gotten to the part where he's glad that it ruined. We don't know yet. We don't fucking know yet. I'm making a prediction. He likes
it's going to be mentioned until the absolute last part of the movie, the video. Bet yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that the reason why is that he doesn't like that the people that criticize it, he doesn't agree with politically, and as such, them getting angry about it makes him happy, and it's all just been and it's gonna be like the last 5 minutes of the video or some shit.
Man, what a spiteful little shit! If that really is just it.
He is a spiteful little shit, like literally.
When you realize the majority of scenes where Rose is talking happen in
looks back at hands.
Sequence, a segment of the film that feels completely disconnected from the core plot and is distracting whenever it's back.
You Canto Bight is useless. Thank you, Giggly Tits. You agree, Canto Bight is useless.
Always feel a little disconnected from the core conflict, and it deflates tension while here. It's away from the ship that's being pursued by the First Order. It's away from Rey training under Luke. It just feels so far removed. It almost feels like he took Finn and Rose and just dumped them on some random Harry Potter-esque world. And yeah, Star Wars is not subtle about its ideas.
What?
It does not.
It's
Harry
Space
Potter.
Vegas.
It's Space Casino.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter. Harry Potter, yeah.
Why are you so dumb?
I don't
Why are you so awful? You're dumb. You're stupid. You fucking Plumbo.
It really does. It's like, man, you can't keep you can't form a single sentence.
So he was let go from that fucking journalist article.
Either he was let go or he left. One of the two.
Oh, I hope he was let go because
Let
that'd
go
be hilarious.
His writing skills seem to be a little shit.
Oh yeah, they're awful.
Just Harry Potter world. So there's wizards. What do you?
This Harry Potter ass world. Literally, all the fucking Space Marines look at each other in confusion.
Everybody stops gambling for a second. What the fuck? Did he say Harry Potter?
Fucking Geralt stops playing his fucking lute.
The music stops.
Almost feels like we took Finn and Rose and just dumped them on some random Harry Potter-esque world. Wars is not subtle about its ideas, not at all. But this feels very much like the character existing as a mouthpiece more than as a person. She communicates more to the audience with her intro, where she's quietly crying over her lost sister, more than in any of the monologues she gives later on. Because that's organically woven in. We get more sense of how war impacts people through that than we ever do with any of her dialogue. And none of that has to do with John Boyega, Benicio del Toro, or Kelly Marie Tran, all of whom elevate the...
Yes.
Benicio. It's Benicio.
Benicio.
Balatro.
Balatro del Toro.
He just walks. He wakes up in the jail scene. It's just like, all right. So you got two Jokers, a Venus car.
You used high card 13 times. How did you get here?
To as high a level as possible. It's just a shame they gave Finn the same arc as he got in The Force Awakens.
The fuck is with this guy's pronunciation?
I don't know.
He
can't.
He's got to have a speech. He's got to have a speech impediment.
Yeah, it's fucking very apparent so far.
Because as we mentioned, he doesn't say criticism. He says criticism.
Yeah.
Runs away.
Chrysanthemum.
He joins the Resistance and becomes a hero. Self-sacrifice to protect someone he loves. I know Star Wars is like poetry and rhymes, but...
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
This isn't rhyming, it's just a fading echo. You can't do the same thing so many times before it becomes redundant. Now, this is opposed to Poe, who goes from a very static character in the first film to a more developed one with an arc.
Static?
A lot of audiences...
He's not a static character.
No, static, not stoic.
Yeah.
He's driving the static.
He doesn't change or develop. He's just kind of the same guy.
I don't know.
In The Force Awakens, I think
Yes.
you might just be right, just because he's just not in a third of the movie, because he just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to give this guy any points, but fair enough.
Yeah, I guess so, but there's nothing wrong with him being a static character.
And then in The Last Jedi, he does something that is objectively correct and is punished for it.
is sympathize with Poe early on. He's a fighter pilot. He fights for the Resistance against the First Order. He's a hero, a hotshot, someone who is fiery-tempered but always gets the job done correctly. And in the first film, he is just a really good, cool guy who really loves his friend Finn. Yeah, friendship. That's what they're calling it nowadays.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Insert Finn and Poe being gay joke, right?
Gay.
Right, you put it here.
Yeah,
Isn't being gay funny?
No,
actually, you know what? Being gay is hilarious. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, it's not hilarious. It's gay.
Yeah.
So far, it's been more of a subtextual kind of maybe romantic relationship with.
No, it wasn't. That was never the intention. If it was the intention, it was done shittily. Stop it. Like, come on.
He's just saying something for the interview. Like he's just clearly trying to say something so the interviewer will shut up and he can go back to making. I was about to say go back to making Dune, but he died.
With Finn a bit.
And they get upset with Holdo in this film because
Yes.
Holdo tells Poe, "Hey, you can't do what you're doing. You gotta stop. You're a loose cannon. You gotta chill out." But what Holdo does makes total sense.
No.
Okay, you know what?
doesn't.
You know what? You know what? That's a great point to end it off on. We're at 3 hours 4 minutes. So we'll end it off.
Dude, I've never heard of you, but I hate you. Fuck you.
Let's see how. Like,
you're fucking awful.
Just another person on the pile.
Oh God, guys, we have like 59 minutes left when we come back to it. Probably next weekend.
Well, I was gonna say
probably
I feel like
another 30.
30-minute increments is actually a good way to do this.
Yeah, 30-minute increments. Yeah.
Are you still recording or did you hit the button?
Oh no, I'm still recording. It's okay.
So, on a brief note, I do want to quickly talk on that. Holdo's stupid fucking plan of just going a straight line, abandoning all of our previous ships, including the fucking the capital ship. I forgot what it was called. The Radis.
The Radis, yeah.
Yeah, it was called the Radis. So they go in a straight line, run out of fuel, abandon ship to a fucking corner of the galaxy and hope they'll just pass by. Like that's meanwhile so many people got killed because of
it's so much frightening.
Sometimes my genius it generates gravity.
Genius, not gravity. Oh.
So Hulda was only right because the story made her right. Everybody else would just no. It's so fucking stupid. Admiral Akbar in the old EU was a fucking tactical goddamn genius, and he would laugh at Holdo and going, "You're a fucking idiot," and I can't believe this version of me died because of you.
I'm dead now.
No, he's still floating around in space. He's gonna play Akbar's theme.
Ocean man, take me by the hand.
And with that, fuck this guy.
Yeah, we'll be back next week for one.
We'll be back.
Get out of here.
No, she'll do it. She'll.
Yarp, we're better than this guy.
We just finished Invincible. That'll be uploaded tomorrow. Since this episode was already dated, may as well just say that.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? We're still working on Baldur's Gate and Monster Hunter.
Are you sure?
And our occasional one-offs of various other video games that I decided to torture Jake with, like Death Stranding.
Eat glass for that.
And we shall see you later.
Guten Tagen, goodbye, Rarl.
Bye.
69 420.